7 the time in the heart of downtown Boise. We welcome you inside Idaho Central Arena as Idaho's premier MMA organization brings you Front Street Fights 27, presented by Project Filter. Good evening, everyone. I'm Matt Johnson. Along with me tonight is Paul Sharp. And Paul, we're going to dive into the full card here momentarily, but as you look at everything in front of us this evening, what are some of your expectations for this evening?
So some of the things I'm expecting to see tonight is some hard fights. These guys are all coming in hungry. Everybody wants a win. Some guys are coming off of losses, so that just incentivizes them to get that win and get that just notoriety. If I come in, I bring it, I fight.
And, Paul, if there's one constant in MMA, it's change. In what was supposed to be our original co-main event of this evening, it is now our headlining fight of the night as we take a look at the fighters. 10-7, there we go. 10-7, John Poppie from Las Vegas. As you see him warming up, he will be facing an 8-4 Antonio Jones out of Petersburg, Virginia. And, Paul, what do you know of these two? What do you expect of this fight?
So with these guys, they are both seasoned veterans. They both turned pro, one in 2015, the other in 2012. They have extensive experience, and they are multifaceted. These guys can bring it in every range. I'm expecting to see a war. These guys are going to get it.
And a little bit more about John Poppie here as we look at him on screen. Again, talk about a little bit more what you know of John.
So John's got good wrestling. He's he's known to be a really well-rounded grappler. Both of these guys come from Extreme Couture Straight Blast Gym lineage, so they've been in the game a long time. Their gyms have been in the game a long time, and they've always trained all the ranges. So stand-up, clinch, ground, these guys are going to get it on. It doesn't matter where it goes, they got fight.
And again, that is going to be our main event of this evening. Now, our co-main event of the night features a man who is no stranger to Front Street Fights. In the cage behind us, Ben Hollier will be making his 7th appearance here with us this evening. And in turn, he faces Dan McElhaney, who will be making his 2nd appearance of the night. Again, that being our co-main event as you look at the competitors here on screen. What are you feeling from this fight, Paul?
Man, I think we're going to see some high-level grappling. Ben is a D1 wrestler. Dan, same. He's a high-level grappler, known to be just a finisher. So I'm expecting to see just both guys come out blazing in that first round.
And in addition to our 2 fights we've talked about so far, matchmaker Vida Ortega has put together a great card. Let's look at the rest of the fights we are going to see this evening. In addition to the main and the co-main, we will also see Louise Murdoch taking on Briley Streeter, Josiah Simpson, and Kerry Latimer. They will open up the pro portion of our card. And as we're about to get to, we've got 4 amateur bouts of the night. Ramon Wheeler will take on Kyle Islami. Chloe Becker will take on Jessica Knight. Tevin Torres will take on Hilario Medina. And the fight we are about to kick off the night with, Mike Golion will take on Tim McDonald. And to get the action started, we will send it inside the cage with cage announcer Britt Salbert.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Front Street Fights 27, Jones versus Poppie. Tonight's fights are sanctioned by the Idaho State Athletic Commission with Commissioner Lewis Stoddard. Our head of officials is Tom Supnet. Your officials for tonight's fights are Tom Supnet and Mike, the Korean Viking Mickelson. Your judges scoring the action cage side are Tim Turner, Tom Supnet, Mike Mickelson, and Laz Martinez. Our timekeeper is Mike Stone. Our scorekeeper is James Manderscheid. All fights in the amateur portion of the card will be 3 3-minute rounds. Let's get to our first fight of the night. First fighting out of the blue corner, Mike Golion.
Love to hate, repeating my mistakes. Now there's no one left to listen. No one left to listen. Take a chance and throw the consequence.
Mike Golion on his way to the cage. One thing that is very interesting that we're going to be talking through during the amateur portion of the card, the majority of the fighters we are about to see in this section of the night are all making their MMA debuts. They've never done this in front of an audience before. They've practiced with their teams, with their coaches, but never in an arena setting, never in front of a live audience. As long as you've been around MMA, Paul, what's going through the fighter's mind right now? Is it nerves? Is it excitement? Mix of both?
It's a mix of both, man. It really is. As you know, competing is a whole different skill set, and learning how to compete, you can only get that by competing. And so managing the nerves as they walk out here, the fear, all that stuff, learning to channel it into energy. What they're going to have to watch for these guys is that first round where they want to come out strong, and then they blow their entire conditioning right out. They empty their tank, and then they got to struggle through the next round and make it out of that first round. So I'll be interested to see how these guys do that, because that comes down to the coaching and the mindset that their coaches instill in them coming in.
And his opponent fighting out of the red corner, Tim McDonald.
As you can hear, Tim McDonald, definitely a crowd favorite here at Idaho Central Arena. Now, on the flip side, Paul, you were talking about what's going through the fighter's mindset. What's going through the coach's mindset? What are the coaches telling these fighters that are about ready to do this for the first time ever?
Man, they're telling them to stick with the plan. That is the scariest part of cornering somebody, is are they going to do what we've been training them to do? Are they going to execute our plan? Are we going to stick with their plan? Or are they, because sometimes when they get out there, those nerves take over and they just go right off script. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it's always a learning experience, either way.
The fighter obviously has to think on their feet inside the cage, as do the coaches on the outside of the cage. When you're trying to control the emotions and the excitement and making sure that your fighter's not emptying the tank, how are you pivoting as a coach to calm them down?
One of the things I'm telling them is I get right in their face, and you want to get them to just listen to me. Listen to me, man. Ignore everything else right now. I need you to listen to my voice. And then you take them through the game plan. And then you just have to be aware of the fact that the other guy's got a plan too, and so things might change.
Again, two fighters about to make their MMA debut tonight. They have never done this inside the cage. Tim McDonald and Mike Golion leading off Front Street Fights 27, presented by Project Filter, in what will be an epic night of fights, as generally does happen here. Definitely excited to see how these two competitors make their amateur debut, and hopefully what will be long careers for both of them.
Yeah, these guys have solid careers ahead of them. Both of them are good athletes, solid athletes. I have a little more experience seeing McDonald. He likes to compete a lot in jiu-jitsu. He's a solid competitor, so I'm interested to see how that translates into this.
All right, as we get ready to kick off the action for Front Street Fights 27, let's send it inside the cage with cage announcer Britt Talbert.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is brought to you by Jack Daniels and is scheduled for three-minute rounds in the Front Street Fights Amateur Heavyweight Division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner behind me, making his MMA debut tonight, standing in at 6 feet 4 inches tall, weighing in at 218 pounds, fighting out of Syracuse, Utah, proudly representing Lions Pride Combat. Please welcome Mike Golion. And his opponent fighting out of the red corner to my right, also making his MMA debut here tonight, standing in at 6 feet 1 inches tall, weighing in at 213 pounds, fighting out of Boise, Idaho, representing the Garage. Please welcome Tim the Titan McDonald. Our official for this first fight tonight is Tom Suppnet.
Two fighters in black trunks, Mike Golion from Syracuse, Utah, in the all black versus the hometown Tim McDonald, also in the black trunks with the white lettering. Referee Tom Suppnet gives us a signal, and we are underway. Quick strikes for both individuals right now. As you mentioned, that energy coming out right away right now. They are seemingly emptying the tank right off the bat in this first 15 seconds.
It is definitely a hockey fight right off the bat. Doing a good job keeping him against the fence.
Going for a single leg takedown is McDonald. He gets that single leg takedown. Early advantage, 30 seconds into round one.
Nice takedown. That was excellent. Kept him against the fence, defended the single. You know, Mike defended the single very well. He transitioned to a double and got the lift and put him on the ground. It's excellent.
Goulion working his way out of the single leg takedown in the hold. What's the objective for Mike Goulion right now?
So Goulion needs to get to his side. So he's in bottom half guard. So he's not really playing for the outside. So he needs the underhook on the outside so that his left side of his body he can get against the cage.
McDonald going for full mount right there,
Yeah,
able to get a
got
couple
the
of
full
lefts
mount.
in there. Goulion was doing good there. Eats about 4 rights for McDonald. McDonald with the heavy fist coming in right now.
So he's doing an excellent job of covering at this time. I think the conditioning is starting to play a role, but Tim is just staying steady with the pressure. Excellent, turning it back into the mat. And he's going to continue with the strikes. Excellent strategy there. It looked like he was going to go for some sort of Ezekiel, but I think he's just going to stick with ground and pound because that's working for him.
Just over 1 minute left of round number 1, our opening fights of Front Street Fights 27. McDonald with a strong advantage as those heavy rights come flying in yet again to the face of Goulion. He eats about 3 more of them.
Yeah, he's got to get out of there because the ref is going to want to stop this. When they're amateurs, they don't want to let him take too much
Hard
damage.
right, hard left, another hard left, another hard right. Goes in with an elbow to slow it down. Referee Tom Supnet has his eye on the action in this final 35 seconds.
He's taking some damage. He's definitely taking some damage. Tim has done a good job of just dominating position. And
Shot to the rib, 2 elbows to the face.
The crowd's definitely energized by the hometown favorite, getting in there and doing work.
Final 10 seconds, round number 1. McDonald sneaks 1 more right in there as we get ready to close out this round. Probably a desperate, hard right and left as we close out round number 1. Tim McDonald ends that round with about 3 hard shots there to Goulion.
Yes, that was excellent. He lost his mouthpiece. I mean, that was exactly what we thought it would be, man. Like, he came out and they both just went all out. Tim definitely had the advantage here. He appears to have better grappling, and that's serving him well. He's able to take Mike down, keep Mike down. Mike pretty much did not have an answer for him from that bottom position.
As we go to the Project Filter replay, brought to you by Project Filter, you decide when. We'll show you how that takedown by McDonald really set the tone for the rest of this first round.
Yes, and that put him at an advantage, and I think part of what that does too is that allows Tim to settle in. Now he's like, okay, this is just another day. We're just doing what we do every day in the gym, and we're going to get after it. And so that's always good for him, not so good for Mike. Let's see if Mike can turn it around, though, because things can change.
Goulion took a lot of heavy hits in that first 3 minutes, and he looks prepped, ready to go for the second round. So he definitely can take it. I think this round is where we find out if he can dish it as well.
Yeah, does he have the heart, right?
Round number 2 is underway between Tim McDonald and Mike Goulion, our first fight of the evening. McDonald with a hard right again. Goulion fights that with a couple of knees. Lower leg kick switches it up to an upper right. Good offense shown by McDonald as well. Goulion comes in with a couple of hard knees to the ribcage. And much like the first round started, the second round starting up, fist, legs. McDonald going for the single leg takedown yet again. Goulion looks like he's got a little better defense on this one.
Yeah.
Comes in with 3 or 4 rights there.
Yeah, Goulion's doing a little better this time, and keeping it on the feet was a good strategy. He was able to get a little bit of confidence back, kind of get a little momentum going his way by landing some good shots on Tim. Tim ate those shots, did well, and then timed this takedown, went for the takedown, and now they're back into a ground battle, which is pretty cool to see. Both these guys seem
And
to
the
have
advantage
decent
this
ground.
time is it's Goulion.
Yes.
Looks like he's got the hold on him now. What we saw, McDonald tried to roll through there, but Goulion, he's got the rear naked choke on. Does he have the arm under the chin? McDonald able to slip out of that. Great exchange between these two competitors. And once again, McDonald with that ground and pound from top position.
Yeah, and you can really see where the conditioning is starting to kick in on these guys, right? That's always the challenge in the amateur ranks, is to have enough conditioning because, again, competition's different than the gym. right? It takes a little more out of you than what you would expect. And so no matter how much conditioning you do, you always come out of that first fight determined to never get tired again.
Good reversal there by Goulion. Now let's see what he can do. Can he get mount? Can he get that top position? And can he inflict some damage in this final minute of round number 2? Oh, what do we got here? He's going, it looks like he's going for the arm bar.
He's got an arm bar and a triangle option. I think the fence is kind of getting in his way.
Now this is where cage awareness takes part, because again, you said he had a triangle set in there. He was going for the arm bar as well too, as he throws in a couple of rights. But again, kind of backed into the cage. Is that something that amateurs need to, like, you gain with more experience inside the cage? Is that cage awareness?
Yeah, you become more aware of the cage, and then you learn how to use the cage as another, as an ally. You learn how to make that cage the third guy in the ring, hopefully on your side.
Goulion doing really good getting out of that.
You know, you got to give it to Mike. He's got heart, man. He's got heart.
He has definitely sustained some heavy blows through these first 2 rounds. And as we close out round number 2 here, I think it's safe to say a much better showing in round number 2 for Mike Goulion.
Yes, definitely a much better showing. He came out strong, kept it on the feet, was able to exchange. I would say he got the better of the exchanges on the feet. I don't know what you would think about that, but it seemed like he did pretty well. He was throwing knees, mixing knees and hands in pretty well. It gets to the ground, that seems to be where Tim's a little better.
I think a lot of it too is what we talk about. What do you tell, what are the coaches saying to their fighters? It definitely shows that, I would think that, McDonald's cornered was, more of the same. It worked for you in the first round. It's going to work for you in round number 2. Goulion's coaches, hey, here's we need to switch it as we go to the Project Filter replay, brought to you by Project Filter. You decide when, we'll show you how. Again, McDonald, he's going to roll through here. He gets back on top. But again, what we were saying about Goulion, a much more balanced round, a better showing in the second round.
Definitely, yeah. And he was wise to keep it in the center. Obviously, Tim knew to get him against the cage, and that helped him finish the takedown. Whereas in the center of the cage, he had a hard time finishing the takedown. So that was smart.
All right, here we go. Round number 3, the final round of our first fight of the night between Tim McDonald and Mike Goulion. Who will get the better of who and walk out with their first amateur win of the evening? McDonald starts with a hard right, and there come those knees from Goulion yet again.
Yeah,
both fighters appear to be just a little bit more cautious to start this third and final round.
Yeah, cautious, and also conditioning is playing a role now. This is where these guys are going to understand after this fight, they'll never take their conditioning lightly again.
Almost kind of an I told you so moment by the coaches afterwards.
Yeah, always.
Goulion with McDonald back against the cage. The rights to the rib cage. McDonald looking for that single leg takedown yet again, much like he did in the first 2 rounds. Which those takedowns, as he is going to, good stop there by Goulion. As we were about to say, those takedowns do, if this fight does go to the judges' scorecards, takedowns have quite a bit of influence on the judges.
They do. They are dynamic, and they are crowd pleasers. People love to see somebody hit the earth from a great height. So if you could do a high amplitude throw, it's always a crowd pleaser. He's doing a really good job of keeping it on the feet. I'm impressed, man. I really am. That first round, I thought, man, he's in trouble. And he has shown that he's got heart and adaptability.
We saw this exchange in the second round. We're seeing it now. McDonald going for a double into a single. Goulion doing a really good job of just kind of falling on top of McDonald to stop the offense there, keeping it nice and slow. But again, here's where it gets important as we get to the final minute 10 of this fight. They've got 60 seconds to put their final stamp on this fight.
Yes, that's the thing. The judges are going to remember this more than anything. And one of the things you can't do is let it go to the judges. You really can't. It's nothing against the judges, but you just don't want that anxiety of where you're standing there going, man, did I do enough? Yeah, exactly. Did I do enough?
Goulion looking for back mount. He's got control of the leg, looking for possibly a rear naked. If he can get his arm under the chin of McDonald. 35 seconds left. Who is going to make their final mark on the judges should we go that far? Goulion trying to lock in that rear naked choke yet again. Good job by McDonald as he eats about 4 or 5 rights to the side of his face. Goulion 3 or 4 more hard rights. Final 10 seconds. And that will do it for our first fight of the night. This one will go to the judges' scorecard. Hugs, laughs by both competitors. You can see the damage on both of their faces. You know, I gotta say, I think one of the most impressive things is from this whole fight that we saw, these 3 rounds, McDonald started off very, very fast. He was able to maintain that through the course of this fight. Goulion, as you mentioned, that first round looked like he was in a lot of trouble, but you saw him get better as the fight goes on. As we're taking a look at the Project Filter replay brought to you by Project Filter, you decide when, we'll show you how. Yeah,
this is really good. So this is the first round, or maybe this, oh no, that's where he stuffed it, 3rd round. So Tim came out, tried the same strategy, put him against the cage, get that double, use the cage as the ally, right, to keep him pinned there. And this time around, Mike was ready for it, and that's just excellent. That's just one of the things about MMA is that adaptability is one of your main attributes you want to develop. You want to be adaptable because you got to be able to fight everywhere and deal with everything.
Again, this is the nerve-wracking part as you're waiting for the judges' scorecard. What's going through your mind as a fighter the first time doing this?
Man, the first time, honestly, I'm just glad I made it out. Next time I'm going to run more, I'm going to do more sprints, lift more, and but
you know, I'm not the world's most athletic guy. I do like to work, but I got to tell you, conditioning work, cardio work is my least favorite thing to do.
It is the hardest thing to get guys to do.
Well, who is going to walk away with their first victory? We're about to find out as we get the results from cage announcer Britt Talbert.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we go to the judges' scorecards, how about a round of applause for our heavyweights here tonight? Learning, working on technique, but was there any doubt it was all heart tonight? We will move to the judges' scorecards. All 3 judges, 4 judges ringside, score this bout 29-28 for your winner by unanimous decision. Fighting out of the red corner, Tim the Titan McDonald! All right, Tim, we're gonna do this to you real quick. We're gonna put you on the mic. We got to look at the camera. Make sure you look good. Your hair, okay, you're good. All right, your MMA debut tonight. You pick up a victory by unanimous decision. You've obviously got a lot of friends and family in the crowd tonight. Who do you want to thank here tonight?
I want to thank all my coaches and family and friends that come out here and support me. I love this shit. I want to thank all the SPG guys helping me out. On top of everyone at the garage. It's been awesome.
Well, tell us this then. What is next for you? Obviously, your debut tonight. Do you want to fight consistently? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, get ready for another one. It was quite the adventure coming out here, and I'm just got a lot of things to fix and ready to do another one.
Now you know. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner in his debut, Tim the Titan McDonald!
The Titan McDonald, the hometown favorite, comes out in his MMA debut, and as Britt Talbert said, yes, between both fighters, it was all hard tonight. Congratulations, Tim McDonald, picking up his first MMA victory of a young and promising career. Well, we are going to step aside for just a couple of minutes. Coming up next, you will see Tevin Torres taking on Hilario Medina as Front Street Fights 27 continues live from Idaho Central Arena.
Welcome to Twin Peaks.
Boise's most scenic place to catch every touchdown, home run, knockout, and slam dunk. Score big when you combine HD views, made from scratch food, and our teeth-chattering 29-degree draft beer. So what are you waiting for? Get your axe into Twin Peaks.
You're feeding it.
I will, I promise. Thanks to our Premier Rewards Visa credit card from ICCU, we earned enough cash back to stock up on puppy supplies.
But we don't have a puppy.
They're very convincing children.
Hey, grab me one too.
Front Street Fights is brought to you by Project Filter. You decide when. We'll show you how. NutriShop and Zoa Energy.
Welcome back live inside Idaho Central Arena as we continue on with Front Street Fights 27 presented by Project Filter. For our next fight, we will send it inside the cage with cage announcer Britt Talbert.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's move to our second amateur bout of the night. First, fighting out of the blue corner, welcome in Tevin Torres.
Now here's where it's going to get interesting, Paul, for the crowd. This is the first fight of the night where you've got kind of two hometown favorites. Tevin Torres from Boise, Idaho, trains out of the Pit MMA. His opponent we will see shortly, Hilario Medina, trains out of Nampa, Idaho. It's always kind of fun when you get two locals fighting each other. It's like now you get a little bit of Boise versus a little bit of Nampa. You get a little 1A versus 2C. It's going to be fun from a crowd perspective. Tevin Torres making his way down to the cage wearing the traditional lei. He also making an MMA debut. Now this is a little bit different from the first fight. Hilario Medina, who we will see in a second, he has had one fight under his belt. It was a loss, so he's coming in 0-1. How does that affect strategy as you're making your debut, but you know your opponent has got one fight under the belt? Granted, it's a loss, but nonetheless, they've done this once. Does that play a factor, or is it just that's my opponent, regardless if they've done this before or not?
Yeah, so at the amateur level with only one fight, let's just play the game. We can't there's not really a lot to research because there's not a lot out there, right? However, you have to keep in mind, if he's 0-1, he's hungry, right? And so that means he's going to come in here. Maybe he changed a lot about his training, got really serious, and now he's about to be about it.
Now, also, it does play probably a little bit into it. If you've got two local fighters, you know the gyms know each other.
Yeah.
Gyms tend to have a same kind of strategy. Every gym's known for a certain style. Does that play into your strategy as well, too? If this gym is known for, ground and pound or more jiu-jitsu, which we'll expand on that topic here in just a minute.
Let's go, Tevin! Let's go!
And his opponent fighting out of the red corner, Hilario Medina.
Again, we mentioned Hilario Medina coming in for his second fight, trying to avenge a loss in his first fight. But as we were saying, every gym has a style. Every gym is known for, whether it be ground and pound, whether it be, striking. if it's two local fighters, you see Hilario strutting his way to the ring. How much that, if you know that person is from that gym that does this style, does that play into the game plan
That
as well,
does play in, right? So now, if I can find anybody that's trained with him before, maybe at an open mat or just through classes or whatever, I'm going to pick their brain. Like, hey, man, what do you know about this guy? What are his tendencies? Also, as a gym, we're going to know there's going to be an influence in a certain direction because that's how that gym fights. Like you said, if they're a ground and pound gym, like the old days, the Hammer House, everybody knew what you were going to get, right? So with these guys, it's like, what are they known for? What do I need to watch out for? How do I take him out of his game and put him in mine?
Knowing Medina's coming in here hungry tonight as his coach, you know, he's got that excitement, he's got that energy, he wants to get after it. How are you calming him down?
I'm just going to tell him, look, man, you've been here before. We know how this goes. Let him blow it out. This is his first fight. Let him blow out his steam, blow out his gas tank, and then we're going to turn it on. We're going to take it to him.
Hilario Medina getting his final check in from the cage side positions. Which fighter's going to walk away with the win? We're about to find out. We're going to go inside the cage with cage announcer Ritz Albert.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is brought to you by Zoa Energy and is scheduled for three-minute rounds in the Front Street Fights Amateur Featherweight Division. Let's meet our fighters. Fighting out of the blue corner behind me, making his MMA debut, standing in tonight at 5 feet 10 inches tall, weighing in at 144 pounds, fighting out of Boise, Idaho, representing the Pit, Idaho. Please welcome Tevin Torres. And his opponent tonight, fighting out of the red corner to my right, standing in with a record of no wins against one defeat as an amateur, standing in at 5 feet 6 inches tall, weighing in at 141 pounds, fighting out of Nampa, Idaho, proudly representing Red Dragon Kajukenbo. Please welcome Hilario Medina. Our referee again is Tom Supnet.
The eternal debate in the Valley, who has the better drivers? Is it 1A, is it 2C? We're going to find out right now who has the better fighter. Referee Tom Sebnet signifies we are underway, and here we go. These boys got the fist and the legs flying. This one's starting off hot and fast. Torres taking it to Medina. Rights, lefts, more rights, lefts.
This is an interesting matchup because both of these guys come from a Hawaiian martial art background. Kajukenbo is in Hawaiian martial art. The Pit, they primarily practice a Hawaiian Kempo. So this is an interesting matchup just to see how this plays out.
Oh, hard right hand there by Torres. Medina, he's down, and this one is done. Medina comes in hard and fast. Two right bombs. This one is done. Tevin Torres successful in the first round. Wow.
That was wow. That was wow. Both guys came out with a lot of dirty boxing. They were grabbing, hanging onto the head while landing shots. And then when they separated, Tevin just got off first, man. He just got off first, and he made it count. That was awesome.
As we go to the Project Filter replay brought to you by Project Filter, you decide when. We'll show you how both fighters coming out fast, furious, the legs, the fists. You see Torres doing a great job. The rights, the uppercut, switches it up, and then this is how it ended. One hard right hand to Medina, followed up by that second one straight to the chin. This one was done.
That was excellent. That was just, you know what? It was just who got off first. Both guys came out hard. Both guys came out fast. And when they were inside in that clinch, that dirty boxing, that is so effective. It's interesting to see what happened when they separated, though. When they separated, one guy had his hands down for a little too long. And that's all it took for Tevin to land that shot, and that changed everything.
Let's make this one official as we go inside the cage for the results with cage announcer Prince Albert.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we get to the particulars, how about a nice round of applause for another good amateur showing here tonight? Here we go. 39 seconds into round one, your winner via TKO. Makes a noise out of the blue corner, Tevin Torres. You love it. Good sportsmanship. Come on over here if I can have a... Well, it's your MMA debut. Didn't take you long to get engaged there, Tevin.
Oh, no. Nah. Man, that lasted way shorter than I thought because I went through 7 weeks of hell. So...
For 39 seconds, I mean...
I'm ready to go again. Let's go. Let's go.
Okay, what's next for you, sir?
I heard Front Street Fights have another fight in March 29th. I'm there if they let me. Yeah.
All right, I heard a lot of screams, a lot of cheers. Who do you want to thank tonight?
I want to thank my team, first of all. I want to thank the Pit Ohana. My family, my whole family came up here. They surprised me last night. So I love everybody.
Aloha. Ladies and gentlemen, Tevin Torres!
7 weeks of hell leads to a victory in 39 seconds for Tevin Torres. Congratulations goes out to him and, of course, his friends and family in the audience tonight. We are going to step aside for just a couple of minutes. Coming up next, it's Chloe Becker. It's Jessica Knight when we return to action at Front Street Fights 27, presented by Project Filter.
We love our house, but lately we've been feeling a little cramped.
So we talked to ICCU about a new home loan. The process was super quick, and we got a really great rate.
We start house hunting tomorrow.
Preferably something with a bigger garage.
We are here for the long run. Because we live here. We are based in Idaho, led in Idaho, with the mission of serving the people of Idaho. If every other health insurance company left the state, we would still be here. We're Blue Cross of Idaho. We're always on your side, and that will never change.
Look this way, look at me now. Look, man, I was searching for a better way, praying, hoping for a better day. Quit, never hesitate. If it's a will, it's gotta be a way.
And I was thinking about the moment I decided to quit vaping. I realized my friends were going down a different path. I just wanted a better phone.
Hey guys, guess what? My brother quit vaping.
Let's go.
Text Start My Quit to 36072 or check out projectfilter.org.
Idaho's Central Credit Union, looking after your daily balance.
Front Street Fights is brought to you by Idaho Central Credit Union, helping members achieve financial success. Pepsi, better with Pepsi. And Jack Daniels.
Welcome back live inside Idaho Central Arena as we continue on with Front Street Fights 27 presented by Project Filter. For our next fight, we kick off the action inside the cage with cage announcer Britt Salbert.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you are ready for the ladies, make some noise right now. For our third amateur bout of the night, let's welcome our fighters. First, fighting out of the blue corner, Chloe Becker.
Gonna clean up your looks with all the lies in the books.
You know, it's funny, Paul and I were talking before the show. This is Paul's first time joining us here at the desk, and I say early on, it's been an absolute pleasure. I look forward to the rest of the night. And I said, inevitably, at some point, somebody is going to play a song, and we're going to talk music. As Chloe Becker makes her way down to the cage right now, She is walking out to one of my all-time favorite songs. So I think now is a very appropriate time to talk about it. Believe it or not, a fighter's music can be pretty important to them.
It can be. It can be.
How do you think fighters choose music? What kind of thought goes behind it? Is sometimes you just pick a song you like? I mean, we've heard over the 27 shows we've done here, you name it, we've probably played it at some point.
You've probably heard everything. I think sometimes you have to be careful about what you choose, because if you choose something funny, you got to win. That's the thing. Maybe they do that on purpose to put a little pressure on themselves. If I choose something that's a little goofy, a little weird, then I've got to win. It's like wearing like a flamboyant outfit to a jiu-jitsu competition. I'm going to have to win.
We'll talk a little bit more about Chloe's training here, because we're going to see a couple of fighters from this gym, Extreme Couture MMA, out of Las Vegas. We've seen a couple of them in previous shows, but Paul, I know you've got some experience with Randy Couture in that gym.
Yes, sir.
We'll get into that throughout the fight. Chloe is 1-1, so she's coming into her third fight. You've got a win, you've got a loss. How's the mindset going into your third fight, knowing you've got one of each?
So going into this fight now, she's probably practiced a lot of visualization, thinking about how she's going to win. She's going to stick to her plan. She's going to execute. Nobody wants to feel that loss, that feeling of not having your hand raised. And so she's probably put a lot of extra work in so that she can put her fight record into the positive. Everybody wants to have that 2-1, 3-1, preferably even 5, 10-1 before you go pro.
And her opponent, fighting out of the red corner, Jessica Knight.
Jessica Knight, the hometown favorite out of Boise, Idaho, making her MMA debut tonight. You're doing this for the first time. You're going in against an opponent, and again, in the last fight we talked about gyms. Gyms have their reputations. Extreme Couture, Randy Couture's gym.
Yep.
MMA legend.
Legends.
How intimidating would that be to know you're going against somebody who's training out of one of the most legendary fighters in MMA history?
That would definitely mess with your head, and as a coach, I want to make sure I get inside her head and she only hears my voice, not her internal dialogue of, man, I'm facing a giant. Like, forget the giant, right? You're David, we're about to slay Goliath. Let's go in there and get it on. One of the things she has in her advantage is she's an experienced competitor. She's a jiu-jitsu black belt with a long history of competition. That helps. Every time you can get somebody to compete in one of the sub-sports like boxing, Muay Thai, wrestling, judo, jiu-jitsu, any of the sports that make up MMA, if I can get you to compete in that, that's going to help you to hone that edge and develop that skill of competing well. That also helps with the mental aspect, which is I've faced tough opponents before. This is just another one. And the tougher they are, the better it is for me, because I want to beat tough people. I don't want to beat tomato cans. I want to beat people that everybody thinks I can't beat.
Jessica Knight getting her, not bad. I like that, like the slow, mellow, intense.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I'm thinking she's
just kind
intense.
of like, you look at it, it's Jessica, The Dark Knight. Great Batman reference, by the way. One of my all-time favorite movies. Well, can Jessica Knight get her first victory of her career? Can Chloe Becker, that is, go to the winning side of her record? We'll find out as we go inside the cage with Britt Talbert.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is brought to you by Project Filter and is scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds as a catchweight bout at 130. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner behind me, with a level record of 1 win against 1 defeat as an amateur, standing in at 5 feet 4 inches, weighing in at 130 pounds. Fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, proudly representing Extreme Couture MMA. Please welcome Chaos Chloe Becker. And her opponent, fighting out of the red corner to my right, making her MMA debut, standing in at 5 feet 4 inches tall, weighing in at 129 pounds, fighting out of Boise, Idaho, proudly representing the Garage. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Jessica, the Dark Knight. Our referee when the action begins will be the Korean Viking, Mike Mickelson.
Jessica Knight and Chloe Becker getting their final instructions from referee Mike Mickelson. We get the touching of the gloves. Our third amateur bout of the night is underway live. Idaho Central Arena. It is Front Street Fights 27, and here we go.
It's open. Hit it. Right hand. Nice. Don't lunge into that.
Both athletes are very measured. They're taking their time, feeling out their opponent. They seem to be a little better at managing that emotional pace where they're not coming out just guns blazing, just throwing everything they've got. They seem to be sticking with a plan.
Knight doing a good job controlling the cage as Becker pushes her back to the center of the cage. Both ladies have exchanged some pretty hard knees as Becker gets that first takedown of the match.
That was a good takedown. Very good takedown. Now we're going to get to see some of that jiu-jitsu. She's working her way into a triangle. That thing's tight.
She is holding
but
on
she's
tight.
Off the neck, so she's going to have to transition to the arm.
And she looks like she's doing that really, really well as she snakes the body over. Becker doing a good job sneaking out. Once again, Knight pushes her up against the cage, slows down that pace.
Yeah, Jessica did a really good job of transitioning from a missed attempt on a submission into standing into another takedown, pushing her up against the cage. That was a good transition for an amateur athlete.
.90 seconds gone by, 90 seconds left in this first round between Chloe Becker and Jessica Knight. Becker throwing a couple of knees. We've seen that from her a few times in this first round. Knight looking for the leg sweep to get her back on the ground. Of course, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu more known prone in going to the ground.
Yeah, more for the ground, more for the submission. You know, what we're seeing out of Chloe is she's doing a really good job of listening to her corner. Her corner's sitting right next to us. I can hear the directions he's giving her, and she's responding immediately. That's really important for both sides of this equation, the coach and the athlete.
How difficult is that? You've got a fighter grappling onto you, punching you in the face, kicking you in the stomach. How hard is it to balance what is literally happening right in front of you to listening to what your coach is saying? Or does that come with practice? You get those reps inside the gym, and it almost becomes second nature.
It almost becomes second nature if you're training in the gym with what we call match conditions. So you want to try to reproduce what a match feels like. Loud noises, crowd, music, all of that stuff.
Becker throwing a few fists, doing a great job for the moment defending the takedown, but Knight able to get her down to the ground back where she wants her.
What I really am impressed by is the composure. Neither one of these athletes are getting rattled. They've been put in bad spots. They've had some good little back and forth in there, but neither one's getting rattled. Neither one is, you don't see any of the panic stuff, right? Where they all of a sudden they're like, listen, I got to turn it on, hit the nitrous, and just start throwing bombs. They're being very measured, very careful, and feeling it out, listening to their corners.
As round number one comes to an end between Chloe Becker and Jessica Knight, you mentioned the pacing of this fight. Very different than what we saw from the first two fights. Those four fighters in those first two fights came out guns blazing. As we go to the Project Filter replay brought to you by Project Filter, you decide when, we'll show you how. Pacing a lot different in this match.
It is very different. And no insult to the other guys, but these athletes are fighting very technical games. They're playing very technical, strategic games. Like I said, they're listening to their corners, which is impressive. They've obviously put the time in match-like conditions so that they can understand and hear their coaches in their corners. I think for Jessica, that's a benefit of having competed in jiu-jitsu where you constantly have people near the mat screaming and hollering. And Chloe, she's coming from a gym with a long, long history of MMA, so they probably reproduce those match conditions on a regular basis for her. Both of these athletes appear like they've been in a cage before, even though we know by the record they haven't.
A very even matchup in round number one. Both ladies very composed, very strong. Both had their bright spots within that first round. What did the corner say to them? How will that play in round number two? We will find out right now as Mike Mickelson signifies that we are underway.
Jab, cross. Come on, step into it, Chloe. Hey, we gotta set that up. Hey, don't let her back you into the fence, Chloe. Where's your cross? Right there it is.
Both ladies exchanging a couple of fists right there.
Straight cross.
Leg kick by Knight. right and the left by Becker.
Both athletes are doing a good job of sitting in that pocket. They're in the range where they can step in and land a shot, but they are also safe if the other athlete moves on them. They have enough time to set up their defense.
Jab, cross hook. Bang, bang, bang. 3. There you go. Good jab. Wait. Missing with the loop. Long.
Both ladies seeming willingly to, I don't want to say play it cautious or play it safe, but not really dive right in there, like really pick their spot.
Yeah, they are doing a really good job of being strategic.
Oh, hard right. Both ladies exchanging the fist right now. Uppercut from Becker, a knee by Knight.
Cross, cross, cross. Cross. Hey, jab, cross. Come on. Bang, bang. Don't let her put you on the fence. Hey, why are we...
Oh, spinning back fist by Becker. That one connected.
Okay, that was interesting.
Knight again going for the knees to the midsection.
Listen, get your right under it right now. Right under it. Dig your right under it. All right, you got it. Now spin off. We can super duck that far side too.
Yeah, see, she's doing a really good job of listening to her corner. As you guys can hear, her corner is right next to us. Everything they're telling her to do, she's doing her best to execute.
Let's see some aggression, Chaos. Let's go. Here it is. Hey, don't worry about that side kick. Chloe, we need it. Nice. Boom. Nice.
Good combination by Becker.
Good combination.
Again, Chloe, let's go. Pick up the pace.
60 seconds left in round number 2. Knight getting a good shot to the chin of Becker.
Get off the fence.
Yeah, I'm really
Knight
surprised.
Knight backing Becker into the back of the cage. That was
yeah.
Dr.
That was pretty
Seuss
good.
tried to write my lines right there.
Yeah, you know, I'm really
twister.
surprised that Jessica's not doing more to get her to the ground. That would seem to be her strong suit, but maybe she wants to make a statement about she has some stand-up too. She's not just a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, but she can also fight on her feet. Maybe that's part of the plan.
Knight looking for the single leg takedown. Becker delivering a right to the chin.
Again, very composed, very calm, fighting off a takedown and just...
Another good takedown by Knight. She has displayed that several times within this match. As Knight getting back position, looking for a rear naked choke. She's got the leg under. Is this going to be it?
I think she was saved by the bell, man. That was close.
Man, that was
real close. That was real close.
I got to tell you, with the crowd applause, Paul, I wasn't really sure if we heard the horn or there was a tap. Obviously, there was a horn, but right there at the very end, Knight doing what she does best in this fight as we go to the Project Filter replay. Brought to you by Project Filter. You decide when, we'll show you how.
Yeah, this is interesting. I'd like to see.
The combos back and forth. More of a stand-up in this round as it went on.
Oh, here it is.
That spinning back fist.
That
seemingly
was
turned the tide in Becker's favor. But towards the end of the round there, what I thought was great, Knight stuck with her plan, gets her down, double A takedown, flips her in the last couple of seconds, had the rear naked choke, and
had it locked up.
Right in front. I mean, they were literally right in front of us.
That was on
she
tight.
She had that locked in.
That was on tight, man. Her face was turning purple. That was tight.
Man, that was close.
Man,
in other
oh,
sports,
man.
that would be called a photo finish.
Yeah, listen, don't play the lottery. You used all your luck tonight in this fight. That's it. You're not going to get that lucky ever again.
Round number 3 underway between Chloe Becker and Jessica Knight. Good hard shot leading the way for Chloe Becker.
Good cross again. Don't worry about that. Straight punch, cross, hands up. That's trash.
Becker in the blue gloves, Knight in the red gloves. Knight seemingly want to... Oh, we're going to go pause here. Referee Mike Mickelson having a talk with Jessica Knight.
Yeah, I'm not really sure
I
what
did
that was
not
about.
see what that was.
I'm not sure. There's been a complaint of some eye jabbing and some appears to be maybe some thumbs in the eye on the part of Chloe making the complaint that she's on the receiving end of it. But I didn't really see anything that time.
What I just say, Chloe, why are you switching your stance?
After a brief pause, we are back underway. A little over 2 minutes left in this third and final round.
That was a hard shot, but she kept coming.
Do it again. Stop switching your stance. Again, Chloe, come on. 2 minutes.
That side kick.
Oh!
The side kick
hard
that
right
Knight's throwing,
shot.
it seems to be keeping her out at range. She's doing a good job of keeping Chloe outside that range where she's just deadly with her hands. But now
Stiff right shot by Knight.
Yeah, Knight's doing a good job with that side kick of keeping her outside of punching range. Now she's getting through it. She's figured it out. Is it going to be enough, though?
Apply that pressure. Cross. Hey, she doesn't want to engage, Chloe. Cross. No, just missed it.
Near miss by Becker.
Again. Pace, you got to pick up the pace.
Knight seeming wanting to do a little more stand-up.
Pick up the pace. Let's go, Chloe.
Maybe trying to position her to get her back down to the ground. Near miss with the leg kick.
Yeah, she seems to be taking a different strategy this time. Chloe's more of the aggressor, driving in, pushing her back. She was using the side kick to kind of keep her out, but now that's stopped, and I don't know if that's a good idea. She needs to keep that side kick because Chloe seems to be getting the better of the exchanges when it's just the hands.
Again, back to more of the good right-left combo by Knight.
She's setting it up. You can see her setting it up.
Confidence
She's
building seemingly in Knight.
Yeah, she's starting to land hard shots, and it's building her
Becker
confidence.
eats it right, but gives one as well.
Chloe, come on. We got a minute left. You got to get.
Yeah, she's finding her range with that jab now.
Anything. Go for something. Let's go. Hey.
Oh, near miss by Knight. Excuse me, near miss by Becker. Knight laughs it off. And we saw that in an earlier round, spinning back fist as Becker connects with the right and the left, and a kick to the ribs. Knight standing in there. Becker wanting that spinning back fist, the final 10 seconds. She wants that highlight win, doesn't want to let it go to the judges. Will she sneak it in there one more time?
There it was again.
Couple of great ending combos there. Both ladies, sportsmanship there at the end. Very different paced fight as we talked about than the first two. A lot more strategy, a lot more calm, a lot more, thinking rather than just going after it.
Yeah, just brawling. There wasn't any of that happening. These guys are very strategic, and what I really thought was cool was that both of them are listening to their corners. You can hear their corner calling things out for them to do, and then you see them do it. You see them execute. That is a mark of maturity beyond what their record reflects. The record reflects 1 or 2 fights, but the maturity that they demonstrate in there, as well as the composure, when they got in bad spots, when their legs were caught, when they were taken down, different things like that, nobody lost it. They maintained control. They were able to respond correctly, dig their way out of the hole, get back to the feet, and reset. That's so important.
And of course, you saw a lot of examples of what Paul was talking about there on the Project Filter replay brought to you by Project Filter. You decide when, we'll show you how. To me, I think one of the things that I noticed from my position was obviously Chloe Becker came in there very strong at the beginning. Jessica Knight being her first fight. A little bit of a filling out process, but I think we saw Knight's confidence gain throughout this fight.
Yeah, definitely.
And as we take a look back at what stopped the fight earlier, knee to the face, was that it potentially?
Maybe. So she did get a warning.
And that sometimes too can come with the inexperience in an actual fight.
Yeah, inexperience, and also sometimes I think on the part of the refs, they want to be very careful about making sure amateurs stay within the amateur rule set. And even though it's unintentional, they want to make sure they know, like, hey man, let's be cool.
Well, for the second time of the night, we go to the judges' scorecards. How did the judges see this one? We will find out right now as we go inside the cage for the results with cage announcer Britt Talbert.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we go to the judges' scorecards, how about some more noise here for the ladies tonight? Here's how the judges have it. Judge Les Martinez scores this bout 29-28 for Jessica Knight. Judge Tim Turner scores this bout 29-28 for Chloe Becker. Judge Tom Supnet scores this bout 29-28 for your winner, fighting out of the red corner, Jessica, the Dark Knight.
Our first split decision of the night.
All right, now it's time for the publicity piece here. Jessica, for you, correct me if I'm wrong, your MMA debut tonight.
Yeah, it was my first fight.
All right, so you get a girl out of Las Vegas. Probably don't know a lot about her. How did it go for you? I mean, you won, but how do you feel post-fight?
I feel amazing. Just stepping out here on this stage is amazing. Something I wasn't ever sure that I would ever do, and I'm so glad that I finally took this opportunity, and I had an amazing opponent. Amazing opponent.
All right, so now you've been punched in the face in real time a couple times. What's next for the Dark Knight?
We'll be back. We'll be back fighting again.
Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for the Dark Knight.
Our first split decision of the night goes in favor of Jessica Knight. She picks up her first victory in MMA. Congratulations to her. We can't wait to see her back into the cage. We are going to step aside for just a couple of minutes. Coming up on the other side of the break, it is our final amateur bout of the night as Ramon Wheeler makes his MMA debut against Kyle Islami, who will make his fourth appearance inside the Front Street Fights cage. That's next when we return to Idaho Central Arena.
Everywhere you look, it's getting harder to afford the basics. That's why we're fighting to lower the cost of healthcare. It's not a small or easy task, but the people of Idaho deserve it. The health of our kids depends on it, and our state is stronger because of it. Affordable healthcare is worth fighting for, because you are. We're Blue Cross of Idaho, and we're always on your side.
I've always wanted to do that.
I've always wanted to do that.
We'll have one of everything. I always wanted to do this.
I always wanted to do that!
Next round on me.
Idaho Central Credit Union, looking after your daily balance.
Hey, grab me one too.
Front Street Fights is brought to you by Miller Lite. Tastes like Miller time. Restore Hyper Wellness and Cryotherapy. And St. Luke's Sports Medicine.
Welcome back live inside Idaho Central Arena for Front Street Fights 27, presented by Project Filter. Well, we have reached the headlining match of the amateur portion of our card. How will this one all play out? Let's find out as we welcome in the fighters and send it inside the cage with cage announcer Britt Talbert.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's move to our fourth and final amateur bout of the night and meet our fighters. Fighting out of the blue corner, Ramon Wheeler.
All right, we're going to go back to the music for a second. Little Tupac never hurt anybody.
Yeah.
Ramon Wheeler making his MMA debut tonight out of Idaho Falls. Not local per se within Boise, Idaho Falls, just a few hours down the road. Of course, we've seen a lot of great fighters come out of the Idaho Falls area. again, each fight in this amateur card that matchmaker Vida Ortega has put together, the storylines have been a little bit different. It's either been MMA debuts on both sides, MMA debut against one fight, against two fights. Now, Ramon Wheeler making his MMA debut tonight. You're going up against a guy who's had 5 fights. That definitely shows a little bit more experience, again, regardless of record. Kyle's record, that being 2-3. As you start going against fighters who have a few more fights under your belt, how does that change the game plan?
I don't know that it would change the game plan as much as it would just make me more aware of the fact that this guy's been here before. He's going to have some tricks up his sleeve. There's going to be a few things he's going to know about being in there that I don't know. So I'm going to have to really pay attention to my corner. I'm going to do my best to take the fight into my corner so I can hear my guys talking and keep them away from his. And also just being aware of the fact that his record is upside down. That means he's going to be fighting hard. He's going to want to send a message.
And his opponent fighting out of the red corner, Kyle Aslami.
As we mentioned on the earlier side of the break, Kyle Aslami making his 4th appearance here at Front Street Fights. Looking over his last few fights, he's got 2 wins and 1 loss in the Front Street Fight cage, which bodes well. Looking at that, again, his 3 fights that he's had here at Front Street Fights, he's 2-1. Overall, he's 3-4. He's currently on a 3-fight losing streak. Does that do anything? Obviously, you know, a fighter only looks at their next fight, whatever happened previous, but that's got to sit in the back of their mind. If you're on like a little bit of a losing streak, which Kyle is on right now,
yeah,
you know you do better in this arena. Does that give you confidence?
That gives you confidence. You're fighting in front of your home crowd. You got people on your side. They're vibing with you. Everybody wants to see you do well. So it takes away all the other factors that happen when you fight out of town, which is I'm trying to make weight in some strange place. I'm in a hotel sauna, all those things. Don't have to worry about that. So that takes a huge weight off his shoulders. Fighting in front of the home crowd, home gym. Everybody's here to support him. It's going to give him a lot of energy. It's going to drive him hard. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to do. You know he's going to go hard because he wants to reverse that record and come out on top.
Of course, you see some might call it legendary Jesse Brock in the corner of Kyle Aslami. Jesse Brock, no stranger to Front Street Fights, and one of the OGs, really helped this promotion get off the ground, was a huge supporter of it, of course, fought several times. I believe he holds one of the championships.
Yes.
We got to get the record books going back together a little bit there, but Jesse Brock, a huge supporter of Front Street Fights, and we can't thank him enough for everything he's done to really help launch this promotion as we started it some 27 fights ago. That experience has to be valuable.
Extremely.
Having a guy so familiar with this cage, this building.
Yeah, extremely valuable. One of those things where when you look in your corner and you see a legend like Jesse sitting there, you know I'm good, man. I can get after it. It's always just a boost when you look over and you have somebody with that status, that history. Man, you're unstoppable. It feeds into your mental game.
Well, who's going to get the victory in our final amateur bout of the night? We will find out as we send it inside the cage with cage announcer Britt Salbert.
Ladies and gentlemen, this final amateur fight of the night is brought to you by St. Luke Sports Medicine and is scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds as a catchweight bout at 130 pounds. Let's meet our fighters. First, fighting out of the blue corner to my left, making his MMA debut tonight, standing in at 5 feet 3 inches tall, weighing in at 129 pounds, fighting out of Idaho Falls, Idaho, proudly representing Guerrilla Unit. Let's welcome Ramon Wheeler. And his opponent fighting out of the red corner to my right, with an amateur record of 2 wins against 3 defeats, standing in at 5 feet 5 inches tall, weighing in at 130 pounds, fighting out of Boise, Idaho, proudly running SBG Idaho. Please welcome Kyle Kid Flash Aslami. Once again, when the action begins, your referee is the Korean Viking, Mike Mickelson.
Out of the blue corner in the black trunks with the dragon trim. Out of the red corner in the all black trunks, they receive their final instructions from referee Mike Mickelson. They touch gloves, and we are underway. Our final amateur bout of the night. It is Ramon Wheeler. It is Kyle Islami. Who gets the victory? We are about to find out. Wheeler showing that energy, willing to get in there. Early kick, early punch. Islami close to landing a hard right, gets the shin to the side of the head, going in for another head kick.
Yeah, definitely see the experience on Islami's part where he's kind of taking his time, setting up his shots. He's pacing himself a little bit. That's where that experience comes in, landing hard shots too.
Sometimes to give one, you got to take one, and so far early on, Wheeler showing he's not afraid to go in there and see what he can get on Islami.
Yeah, he is definitely a tough kid, man. He's not afraid to get in there and mix it up. He's consistently moving forward. Islami's got answers for him, but he's definitely feeling it out.
Islami laser focused on Wheeler.
Yeah, he
has landed several near hard shots to the head. I'm not even sure Islami's blinked once yet.
No.
Okay,
no.
he just blinked there. Okay, he's blinked once this entire fight.
We got one blink. He is definitely setting up his shots. He's finding his range.
Oh, hard right!
It.
He is down! He is out in just a flash! Kid Flash comes up victorious in Front Street Fights 27.
That was awesome. That was laser focus, just super accurate. What an accurate shot.
You saw it building and building, the laser focus as much as Wheeler was getting in there. Islami dead locked on him, waiting for that one opportunity, that one shot as we go to the Project Filter replay brought to you by Project Filter. You decide when, we'll show you how. Visit projectfilter.org. You saw the early combo. Again, Islami laser focused on Wheeler.
There
one
it is.
Hard
there it is.
Right shot. He was done.
Man, that was awesome. That was just awesome. Talk about precision striking. He just bided his time, waited for his shots, set them up, started landing them, started feeling them out. You know, you saw him go for the takedown a little bit in the beginning there. He realized the takedown wasn't a good idea yet. Hadn't worn him down yet. He's like, all right, man, well, let's keep it on the feet. Then when he started landing that right hand, that was it. You saw the light go on. Islami knew, like, I'm going to find this kid, I'm going to line him up, and I'm going to drop him. And that's just what he did.
One blink, one shot. Okay, he probably blinked several times, let's be honest.
Yeah, maybe.
Again, that laser focus cannot be understated from Kyle Islami as he gets the victory. Well, let's go ahead and make this one official as we go inside the cage with cage announcer Britt Talbert here shortly. Referee Mike Mickelson taking a look at both fighters here. And now we make it official as we go inside the cage with Britt Talbert.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we get to particulars, how about a nice round of applause for Ramon Wheeler here, making his debut with us tonight. Well, let's move to our winner here at 1:25 of round one. Via knockout, it's Kid Flash, Kyle Islami! Well, Kyle, it seems like I've done a bunch of these fights with you. You pick up your third win tonight as an amateur. What did you know coming into tonight's fight about your opponent?
Nothing, really. He has no video of him of training, nothing, no fights. I just took the fight, wanted to get a fight, and after 3 years, and put a shirt for Boise, Idaho. And as always, SBG on top, baby!
All right. Jesse Braca, the SBG guys, but clearly it's more than them behind you. Who else you want to shout out here tonight?
Oh, man. My family, my kid, my wife, they're up there somewhere. My mom watching me for the first time. Everyone, my sponsors. I appreciate every single one of you. And yeah, like I said, baby, we're just climbing up the ranks. We're just going up.
You know your mom's going to be a hot mess, right, watching you fight, person?
No, yeah, absolutely. But yeah, everything for God himself. He put me on this earth. But yeah, man, Allahu Akbar, baby.
What's next for Kyle Islami?
We'll go back to training, and I might come back pro fighter here.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, Kid Flash, Kyle Islami!
After 4 long years, this one punch right here puts Kyle Islami back in the victory lane. Congratulations to Kid Flash, Kyle Islami. Will we see him make his pro debut? We will find out. I'm sure Vida Ortega will talk to him about that. Well, that is going to wrap it up for the amateur portion of the card. We're going to step aside for about 15 minutes or so, take a little bit of an intermission. When we come back, Paul, it is pro fight time. We will talk more about the 4 pro fights we will see, and of course our main event tonight, John Poppie and Antonio Jones. That's on the other side of the intermission when we return to Idaho Central Arena in Front Street Fights 27, presented by Project Filter.
Welcome to Twin Peaks.
Boise's most scenic place to catch every touchdown, home run, knockout, and slam dunk. Score big when you combine HD views, made from scratch food, and our teeth-chattering 29-degree draft beer. So what are you waiting for? Get your axe into Twin Peaks.
Our pets are always there for us, like family. We want to take the best care of them. Dogs and cats exposed to secondhand smoke are more likely to get cancer. Your pet doesn't have a choice, but you do. Whenever you decide to quit smoking or vaping, we'll be there to support you. You decide when. We'll show you how. Learn more at projectfilter.org or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
Hey, grab me one too.
27th time in the heart of downtown Boise, we welcome you live inside Idaho Central Arena as Idaho's premier MMA organization brings you Front Street Fights 27, presented by Project Filter. Good evening, everyone. I am Matt Johnson, joined by Paul Sharp. Paul, we've had a great amateur bout of the night, great amateur portion of the card. We now get ready to step into the pro portion of the card. What are you expecting from our 4 professional fights tonight?
Man, from our professional fights tonight, I'm expecting some real aggression, some gamesmanship a little bit. All these guys want to make their mark. All these guys are coming in looking for that win. And some of these guys are debuting as pros, so this is going to be an exceptional night.
And if it's one thing that is constant in MMA, it is change. Our main event was originally scheduled as our co-main. It is now our headlining fight of the night as we take a look at the fighters. Again, originally our co-main, now our main event of the evening. It is a 10-7 John Poppie out of Las Vegas, Nevada. What do you know of John?
Now, what we hear about John is that he is a well-rounded fighter. He's been a pro since 2012, so this guy's got experience. He's no joke. He's here to win. He knows what it takes. He's a seasoned competitor, so I'm looking forward to seeing a well-rounded game coming out of him.
His opponent on the other side of the cage will be an 8-4 Antonio Jones out of Petersburg, Virginia. What do you see in his opponent?
Same thing, man. You know, they say styles make fights, but in this case, neither one of these guys have a style, which isn't an insult. It means they're hard to read. If you want to stay on the feet, we'll stay on the feet. You want to go to the ground, we'll go to the ground. These guys can fight anywhere with anything. It's going to be exciting.
And, of course, our co-main event this evening will feature a man who is no stranger to the Front Street Fights cage, Ben Hollier from right here in Boise, Idaho. He'll be making his 7th appearance inside the cage. Speak to us a little bit what you know about Ben.
Ben's a stud, man. Ben is a hard-working fighter. He comes in with a resume backed up by Boise State University as a D1 wrestler, and he is a workhorse. This guy's not afraid to get in here and trade it. He's taking fights on short notice for Front Street. He's a consummate competitor, if I could spit it out.
Hey, tongue twisters are hard. He'll be, of course, facing Dan McElhaney, who will be making his 2nd appearance here inside Front Street Fights at Idaho Central Arena. What do you know of his opponent, Dan McElhaney?
Yeah, so we've heard similar things about Dan. Dan is a guy that's got a solid grappling background. He likes to stay on the feet, but if it goes to the ground, he's really comfortable there, and he can finish there as well. He likes to finish it in the first round.
Before we get to our co-main and main, we have 2 more pro fights for you. We will take a look at the rest of the card right now. Immediately before our co-main will be Luis Murdoch. He will take on Briley Streeter, and Josiah Simpson will take on Kerry the Batterer Latimer, who's got to be one of my favorite fighters who we've ever had here in Front Street Fight, and we'll talk a little bit more about him as we get closer to that fight. But right now, we are going to toss it over to Britt Taubert to kick off the main event festivities.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise if you are able and remove your caps for tonight's national anthem being performed by Mr. Devlin Walker.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the
Another amazing job by Devlin Walker with the national anthem right here at Front Street Fights
Ladies and
27.
gentlemen,
Of course, now we move on to the pro portion of the card. Rules slightly different for this portion. Duration each fight 3 5-minute round. Of course, the main event or a title fight would be 5-minute rounds. 3 judges will be scoring the fight using the 10-point must system, and points are scored by effective striking, grappling, aggression, and control. You kind of touched it in the open. We do have a couple of pro debuts. When you're stepping into your first pro fight, again, it's another fight inside the cage. You've done this a few times before. Rules slightly different. How does that change your style going into it?
I think what it does is it opens up more options for you, more ways to finish the fight. You're a little restricted in the amateur ranks. There's times where you'll have opportunities to finish, but you can't because the rules say you can't. Whereas when you step into the pros, now it's truly getting closer to the original, the no holds barred aspect, where we can actually get after it. And what these guys have to remember is we've done this before. Let's do it again, only now you're getting paid, bro.
All right, well, let's see the first couple of fighters who are getting paid tonight as we go inside the cage with cage announcer Britt Talbert.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Front Street Fights 27, Jones versus Poppie. Tonight's fights are sanctioned by the Idaho State Athletic Commission with Commissioner Louis Stoddard. Our head of officials is Tom Supnet. Your officials tonight are Tom Supnet and Mike Mickelson. Your judges scoring the action cage side are Tim Turner, Tom Supnet, Mike Mickelson, and Laz Martinez. Our timekeeper is Mike Stone. Our scorekeeper is James Manderscheid. All fights in the pro portion of the card here will be 3 5-minute rounds. And now for our first professional bout of the night, fighting out of the blue corner, Josiah Simpson.
Josiah Simpson, the first one to make him make his way out to the cage tonight. He comes in 2 fights in. He's got an even record, 1-1. Coming off a win, a TKO in round 1. Also a loss, a TKO in round 1 for Fusion Fight League. So you won one way. You also lost one the same exact way. How does that affect your mentality?
I think you have to look at it like this. MMA is one of those things where you can't take it personal when you lose. You have to look at it like, listen, what I know from this is that MMA works if I do it right. Maybe he beat me on timing, maybe he beat me on conditioning, but whatever it is, I can figure it out too, and I can take it to him next time. You always look for that chance to run it back. Sometimes you don't get it, but regardless of the outcome of the fight, we all know this. It comes down to training, preparation, and sometimes it just goes their way. So you can't take it too serious when you have a loss, right? Like, take it serious as in it kicks you in the butt, makes you want to train, but don't take it as, man, I'm not good at this. I can't figure this out. Listen, the guy that beat you, he figured it out. If he can, you can. Now get to work and let's do this.
29-year-old Josiah Simpson coming to us from St. George, Utah, trains out of Fusion, MMA, and Jiu-Jitsu. His opponent, I mentioned, one of my favorites. We're going to see him come out to the cage here in just a second.
His opponent fighting out of the red corner, Kerry Latimer.
Kerry Latimer is no stranger to the cage, no stranger to the sport of MMA, kind of an OG here. Long track record, as you see, has had many fights. And I'm going to say one of the things I respect most about Kerry is the amount of times he has stepped in, including on this fight last second as a replacement.
Yeah.
He's kind of a guy that's willing to fight anyone, anytime, anywhere.
Yeah, this guy is a warrior at heart, man. This guy's going to take a fight on, was it a week's notice?
Yeah, 7 to 10 days.
Yeah, wow. And not even a bit of a waiver. Like, let's do this, you know. So this guy's definitely got heart. He wants to come in here, and you know, it reminds me of those journeyman boxers, those guys that just keep showing up. They keep putting in work. Maybe maybe they don't end with a winning record, right? but everybody respects him because of what it takes to keep doing this, to keep showing up. And promoters, managers, all those guys, and their opponents. It's like, thank you for stepping up, man, when nobody else would.
Respect he has earned, heart he does have. Kerry Latimer getting ready to step inside the cage. Before we get to that, it is time to look at our tale of the tape, brought to you by Miller Lite. Taste like Miller time. Age 38 to Kerry. Josiah 29. Height advantage goes to Josiah. Weight dead even. Reach advantage goes to Josiah. How will the experience play out? How will all the other factors play out? We are about to find out right now as we go inside the cage with cage announcer Britt Talbert.
Ladies and gentlemen, our first professional bout of the night is brought to you by Blue Cross of Idaho, and it's scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds in the Front Street Fights welterweight division. Let's meet our fighters. First, fighting out of the blue corner to my left with a level professional record of 1 win against 1 defeat. Standing in at 6 feet 3 inches tall, weighing in at 170 pounds. Fighting out of St. George, Utah, proudly representing Fusion MMA and Jiu-Jitsu. Please welcome Josiah Simpson. His opponent fighting out of the red corner to my right with a record as a professional of 14 wins against 38 defeats. Standing in at 5 feet 8 inches tall, weighing in at 171 pounds. Fighting out of Pocatello, Idaho, proudly representing Mandrill FCA. Please welcome Kerry the Batterer Latimer. Our referee in charge of the action in this fight will be Tom Supnet.
Youth versus experience. Which one will come out with the win in this one? Our first pro fight of the night of Front Street Fights 27 live from Idaho Central Arena is underway.
Keep going to the right, take that one chop. Keep that left up high. Yes. Set it up with the hands, though. Come to the right. Come to the right.
One thing to know right off the bat, obviously, a little stumble though by Kerry, regains his composure really quick. Latimer gets a stiff shot to the right of Simpson. Takedown by Latimer.
Latimer knows what the crowd wants to see. Those big, high amplitude throws and takedowns. He knows how to put on a show, man. He's obviously been there and done that.
Simpson trying to take control of the arm. Latimer doing a good job preventing that.
Yeah, he is locked in a Kimura. He has a
He's
Kimura
got a
locked
Kimura
in.
locked
He's
in tight.
tapping.
He taps! 1 minute, 1 second into round number 1 out of nowhere. Josiah Simpson locks in the Kimura, gets his second pro victory over Kerry Latimer. That one was a little sneaky there.
That was. He made a little mistake when he brought his arm over. I believe it was his left arm. We'll see here in a minute. And man, he just latched onto that arm and would not let him have it back.
As we go to the Project Filter replay, brought to you by Project Filter, you decide when, we'll show you how. Big takedown there by Kerry. That experience coming through, but
there it is.
That one slip of the arm, Josiah Simpson able to lock in that Kimura, tapping out Kerry Latimer. Talk about that hold. What is the pressure?
It's on the shoulder. Yeah, so you're attacking the rotator cuff. So you want to take the arm, tuck it up close to the body, and then move their thumb to the back of their head. And he did that perfectly. One of the things that he really did really well was he stayed in that, he used that knee shield to keep Latimer from being able to collapse in on him and get chest to chest, and that allowed him to isolate that arm, attack the arm, and finish the fight with a submission.
All right, well, let's make this one official as we go inside the cage with cage announcer Britt Talbert.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we get to the particulars here, on a personal note, I want to thank Kerry Latimer. He's been a fighter here on this promotion for a very long time. He's always game. Nice round of applause for the batterer himself, Kerry Latimer, please. Thank you. Your winner at 55 seconds of round 1 via a Kimura. Make some noise for the man out of the blue corner, Josiah Simpson. Well done, Josiah. Let's have a quick chat here. All right. You come up here from St. George. You're looking to better your record. Obviously stepping in against a guy like Kerry who's got 50 pro fights. What did you know?
I just want to say first off, Kerry Latimer is a gangster. He took this fight on 10 days notice. My previous opponent fell through, so I appreciate that guy so much. He's an Idaho legend. Give it up for him one more time, please.
That's very classy, Josiah. Well done. All right, how's the fight game out of St. George? I mean, you getting a lot of action down there? You go to Vegas?
I've got a great manager, and I've got a great team. My manager, Roman Athletic Institutions, out of Las Vegas, Extreme Couture. My team in St. George, Fusion MMA and Jiu-Jitsu. I feel like we're under the radar right now, but a lot of people are going to know who we are very soon. We've got a really strong team down there, and we're coming for some people.
All right, how soon do you want to fight again, Josiah?
I want to take the holidays off, spend some time with my family. Where's Koa and Leilani? My wife is here with my 10-month-old son. It's not his first MMA fight, but it's the first time he's seen Dad fight. So I had to get it done for him. Koa, I love you, buddy. I'll see you soon.
All right, last question, right? So you get your record, you had 2-1. What did you think of the promotion come up here to Front Street Fights in the city of Boise?
I've fought all over the Western United States, Las Vegas, California, Montana. This is easily one of the best promotions that I've ever fought for. Super professional. You guys have a great crowd here and a great thing going at the Idaho Central Arena. I love you guys. I can't wait to come back. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Josiah Simpson!
A special night for Josiah Simpson, picking up a victory in front of his 10-month-old son. Always got to be something pretty special. Well, coming up on the other side of the break, our second pro fight of the night. A lot of intrigue in that one. We will talk about that shortly as we take a look at one of the competitors right now. This is Briley Streeter. We'll see him next on Front Street Fights 27.
Welcome to Twin Peaks.
Boise's most scenic place to catch every touchdown, home run, knockout, and slam dunk. Score big when you combine HD views, made from scratch food, and our teeth-chattering 29-degree draft beer. So what are you waiting for? Get your axe into Twin Peaks.
Everywhere you look, it's getting harder to afford the basics. That's why we're fighting to lower the cost of healthcare. It's not a small or easy task, but the people of Idaho deserve it. The health of our kids depends on it, and our state is stronger because of it. Affordable healthcare is worth fighting for, because you are. We're Blue Cross of Idaho, and we're always on your side.
We love our house, but lately we've been feeling a little cramped.
So we talked to ICCU about a new home loan. The process was super quick, and we got a really great rate.
We start house hunting tomorrow.
Preferably something with a bigger garage.
Look this way, look at me now. Look, man, I was searching for a better way, praying, hoping for a better day. Quit, never hesitate. If it's a will, it's gotta be a way.
And I was thinking about the moment I decided to quit vaping. I realized my friends were going down a different path. I just wanted a better phone.
Hey guys, guess what? My brother quit vaping.
Let's go.
Text Start My Quit to 36072 or check out projectfilter.org.
Front Street Fights is brought to you by Idaho Central Credit Union, helping members achieve financial success. Jack Daniels, Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, and scenic views. And Project Filter. You decide when, we'll show you how.
Our second pro fight of the night has a lot of intrigue and a great storyline. We will talk more about that shortly, but to get everything underway, let's go back inside the cage with cage announcer Britt Talbert.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we move to our second professional bout of the evening. Fighting out of the blue corner, Luis Murdoch.
24-year-old Luis Murdoch comes to us from Fort Myers, Florida, with a 1-0 professional record. So you gotta make, as somebody who is well-versed in traveling long distances, especially this morning, you gotta make that trip cross country.
Yeah.
It's not easy for the time adjustment or anything like that. When you're a fighter that has to make a long distance travel for a fight, how does that affect the training, the mentality, the preparation?
So you got to keep them in a cocoon. So you got to keep them in a space where they really aren't affected by the outside. So maybe you move your training to the time that reflects the time zone you're going to be in. So if it means you train at midnight in New York, then that's when you train, because you need to be on your game. You need your body to be adjusted to turning it on and playing at that time. So that's the first thing you do. But I don't think it's going to affect Luis too much. He's a Cuban national wrestler, so he's competed, I believe, at the international level. He's coming into this fight undefeated as an amateur and as a pro. It's going to be an interesting matchup. I think he's going to show us maybe some of that composure we saw earlier tonight, and yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how he does this.
Again, a 1-0 record coming on off a decision, so obviously he has the experience going the 5-minute rounds, all three of them, so he's got that time under his belt. He kind of knows what to expect.
Yeah, he knows how to pace himself. He knows how to work. He knows when the fatigue's going to hit. He also knows when that second wind's going to kick in and carry him through to the end.
Fighting out of the red corner, Briley Streeter.
Briley Streeter also coming to us with a 1-0 record, his first and only professional one coming at Front Street Fights 24, a knockout over Abraham Campos. So we touched on it, let's talk about it. Both fighters 1-0 in their professional record. Both fighters undefeated as an amateur.
Yeah.
A lot on the line in this fight.
There is a lot on the line, man. There's pride. There's all those things. There's dreams. You know, if you can move up in the ranks as a pro and you're undefeated, you're going to get attention. You're going to get good fights. You're going to get better fights, all that kind of stuff. So these guys are looking to come out of here with the win. It's a little heartbreaking because you always have love for the athletes. You know the work they put in. It's not easy, man. MMA is probably the toughest sport out there. And these guys are pouring their heart into this. You know one of them's leaving defeated tonight. It's just who's going to be.
Does that add to the nerves?
Definitely. Definitely. That is an added element of pressure where it's like, I'm going in here 1-0, and I want to leave here 2-0. Now, how do I do that? He has the same thought process. So now it's going to come down to who puts it together first and who gets that momentum and keeps it going.
Well, one of these fighters has to leave with their first loss of their career. We will find out in a matter of moments who that fighter is going to be. But right now, it is time to look at our tale of the tape, brought to you by Miller Lite. Tastes like Miller time. Age, 2-year age difference. Height, 4-inch advantage goes to Briley Streeter. Weight, pretty much dead even. A 4-inch reach advantage goes Briley Streeter's way as well. Again, a lot on the line, a lot at stake. One of these fighters will leave with the first defeat of their entire career. We will find out who that is going to be as we go inside the cage with cage announcer Britt Talbert.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is brought to you by Pepsi and is scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds in the Front Street Fights featherweight division. Let's meet our opponents. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner behind me with a record of 1 professional win against no defeats, Standing in at 5 feet 6 inches tall, weighing in at 144 pounds. He comes to us tonight from Fort Myers, Florida, proudly representing Goat Shed. Please welcome the Rottweiler, Lewis Murdoch. And his opponent fighting out of the red corner to my right, also with a professional record of 1 win against no defeats, standing in at 5 feet 10 inches tall, weighing in at 145 pounds, from Boise, Idaho, representing SBG Idaho, please welcome Briley Schmurda Streeter. Your referee when the action begins will be Mike Mickelson.
Referee Mike Mickelson giving final instructions to both of our fighters. Luis Murdoch in the black trunks with the white trim. Bradley Streeter in the white trunks with the black trim. We've said it once, we've said it twice, now we're going to say it the third time. One of these fighters leaves with the first loss of their entire career. That answer coming your way right now. Good inside leg kick by Murdoch. Murdoch seeming to want to work those leg kicks. Streeter answering with a combination right and left.
Murdoch has a really unorthodox style. He switches stances, does a lot of like ducking side to side, cutting angles hard.
Murdoch looking for control, backing Streeter into the cage, going for that all-important first takedown. Not as pretty as he may would have liked it, but he did end up getting it in fact. Relentless is Murdoch, going for back control on Streeter. Streeter doing a good job controlling that arm.
Yeah, we are definitely seeing Murdoch's wrestling come into play here. You know, the Cuban wrestlers they're just known to be gnarly. They are good, technical, strong.
Streeter trying to work that knee shot to Murdoch. Murdoch relentless, not giving an inch to Streeter.
Streeter's defending well, digging for underhooks, working to get off the cage.
Murdoch a second straight takedown. The tenacity that Murdoch is showing right now, but on the flip side, the defense that Streeter is showing as well.
Yeah, Streeter
Very
is definitely
even
defending well. He's landing some good elbows now. That's the benefit of fighting in the pros. You can throw those elbows. Now we're going to get an opportunity to see Briley's jiu-jitsu match up against Murdoch's wrestling.
Good stiff right forearm.
He's doing a good job of keeping his posture broke down. Makes it difficult for Murdoch to pass, but maybe Murdoch doesn't want to pass. He seems to be content to sit in there and just throw bombs.
Halfway through round number 1 of our second pro fight of the night. This is First Street Fights 27, brought to you by Project Filter, live from Idaho Central Arena. Streeter falling back, misses a left. From Murdoch, tells him to bring it on. Third takedown by Murdoch. Again, not as solid a takedown as we've seen all night, but again, 3 straight takedowns.
Yeah, 3 takedowns. He's definitely winning on the points game. Streeter's doing a good job of stuffing him once he does get the takedown. He doesn't really seem to be able to do any damage. He's not hurting Streeter after the takedown. He's just kind of taking him down and then holding him. So we'll see how that plays out.
You can hear the instructions coming from the corner of Briley Streeter. One of the gentlemen over there, Ricky the Karate Kid Steele, no stranger to Front Street Fights as Murdoch gets his 4th takedown of this first round.
Streeter doing a good job of playing half guard, stuffing any strikes. Murdoch just relentless. Like you said, man, he is just showing that wrestler work ethic where they just don't stop working.
The nickname the Rottweiler on full display in this first round.
For sure.
Murdoch trying to work in some lefts.
First call of action.
Apparently he wants to see more work out of the man on top, and I think that's a fair call. You know, you're getting the takedown, but you're not doing anything with it.
Again, the tenacity, fit, takedown, and a big one at that.
Big takedown. That was a suplex. That was a textbook back arch on Murdoch's part. Again, just the reputation of the Cuban wrestlers. We're seeing it on display.
30 seconds left in this first round. Again, I don't think we can say enough about both fighters, but the tenacity that Murdoch is displaying right now.
It is impressive. You know, Briley's staying calm in there. He's working. He's looking at his corner. He's listening for direction. But, man, Murdoch is just relentless.
And you touched on it, too. As impressive as the tenacity from Murdoch has been, the calmness, the patience by Streeter, equally as impressive.
Yeah, definitely.
First round comes to a close between Luis Murdoch and a Briley Streeter. Pretty even, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would say it was pretty even. I think if they're going to give it to anybody on takedowns, they would probably give it to Murdoch. The only downside to that would be is that he's not doing much after the takedown. You know,
5 takedowns in that first round as we go to the Project Filter replay, brought to you by Project Filter. You decide when, we'll show you how. Again, the first 3 or 4 takedowns that we saw from Murdoch, not the cleanest.
No.
They were there. It was that 5th one, that back arch you mentioned. I believe this is the 4th one right here, but that back arch, pretty effective for a lot of reasons.
Yes, definitely. I think it definitely rattled Briley a little bit. You know, he wasn't expecting that. It's not something you see often in MMA. And I think also this is a kind of alludes to the fact that MMA is a sport in and to itself, because a guy at the level that Murdoch is with his wrestling still can't execute a clean takedown in this arena. Whereas in wrestling, he would probably be hitting that. But with the threat of strikes, submissions, and all those things, it changes how you approach wrestling.
We are underway, round 2 between Briley Streeter and Luis Murdoch. Luis Murdoch, that tenacity, going in fast, furious. 6th takedown. Has control of the legs.
Yeah, he has what we call a lockdown from the top. He let it go. He had it for a moment. He's got one hook in. He's working his way around.
Looking for a rear naked.
He's got a second hook.
Trying to slip the forearm under the chin. Briley doing a good job of keeping that chin tucked, preventing him from locking it in. Dangerous position, though, right now.
Definitely in dangerous position, but Briley's staying calm, working his back to the mat. He's also doing a good job of listening to his corner. Fortunately, he's right in front of his corner, so he can hear his coaches right in his ear.
Cage awareness cannot be understated in a situation like that. Good escape there by Streeter, but again, the tenacity of Murdoch showing through, going for his 7th takedown. Streeter well aware of what Murdoch wants to do, doing a good job pulling him back into the cage, not allowing him to do so.
Yeah, not allowing him back out into the center of the ring. It doesn't look like Murdoch wants to do a lot of striking after that first round.
Potentially 7th takedown there. Murdoch pressing Streeter into the cage. Making him work for every inch of this fight right now.
So Murdoch's got a pinch headlock. We'll see if he can use that to turn into a takedown. No, he lets it go. But he's maintaining the underhook, and he's doing a good job of pinning Briley against the cage. Briley's doing an equally good job of doing everything he needs to do to work off of that cage.
Good job by Streeter withstanding that tenacity, pushing him away. Sneaks a left leg in there.
Yeah, Murdoch does not want to exchange with Briley. I think Briley got the best of him in a couple exchanges on the feet. Murdoch's just using the strikes to get to the takedown. He's definitely staying away from him.
Left to the rib cage. If you're Streeter, you know Murdoch wants to take this to the ground. You want to keep him upright at this point. How do you achieve something like that? Is it quick strikes and back away?
Just the way Briley's doing it right now. He's throwing the kicks, he's throwing the shots, and staying out of that range. Murdoch definitely is paying a price right now metabolically for all those takedowns. It's expensive to try to pick another human being up that's fighting you and put him on the mat.
Streeter controlling the position of the cage right now. Streeter going for the right leg kick. Murdoch able to get Streeter back down the green, seemingly where he wants to control him most of this fight.
Yeah, again, we see a good takedown from Murdoch, but not much after. It's just kind of stalling there for a little bit. I really think he paid a lot. He paid out a lot metabolically. Like, he spent a lot of energy trying to get those takedowns, man.
Streeter landing 2 or 3 good elbows there. Murdoch has had a couple of good overhand shots. But again, I don't think it can be understated enough by both of these men, the tenacity and the defense. And as you hear referee Mike Mickelson giving them the warning, hey, he wants to see more action.
Yeah, he wants to see more action. But these guys are definitely working. These guys have not backed down. All right.
We're going to stand him up. Maybe to not what Luis Murdoch wants,
right.
Maybe what Briley Streeter wants, but we're going back
to
standing.
the feet. And this is where Briley's doing pretty well. Yeah, we
and
see.
Once again, Murdoch answers the question we just posed. He wants him down on the ground.
He just wants him on the ground, man.
Now, if you're Murdoch, knowing that's where you want it, you got the warning in the first round, you got the warning and the stand-up in the second round. Do you have to be more effective and expel more energy on the ground when maybe you want to try to conserve it at times?
Yeah, I'm definitely, at this point, I'm going to stack Briley up, and I'm going to start throwing bombs. Just old school ground and pound, because otherwise, even if I'm not landing hard shots, it's busy work, and the ref's going to leave me alone and let me keep working towards something more substantial.
.35 seconds in round number 2.
He's
Referee Mike Mickelson, for the second time, it stands both of these fighters up. Crowd not liking that call right there. A sweep of the leg by Murdoch. And once again, going for that takedown back down to the ground right where he wants him.
Now let's see if he can make something happen. He's been warned a couple times now.
Round number 2 comes to a close. A little bit of interesting turn there in the second round. It's obvious the strategy for both fighters. Streeter wants it up.
Yes.
Murdoch wants it down on the ground, but Murdoch has been warned twice by the referee that he needs to show more on the ground. How does he accomplish that? As we get ready for the Project Filter replay brought to you by Project Filter, you decide when, we'll show you how.
Yeah, so what we're seeing is he's excellent at getting in here. He just wants to get in. He's not even trying to exchange on the feet. But when he gets in, he doesn't do a whole lot. He kind of just sits there and waits, which maybe that's a training scar or a bad habit from wrestling, where he's just looking to hold somebody down. I don't know. But what we are seeing is that the ref's not appreciating it. Listen, man, you're getting the takedown, but you got to go to work. This is a fight. If this was wrestling, yeah, you're doing great, man. But this is a fight. When you take them down, we want to see something happen, a submission or a knockout.
On the flip side of that, obviously the takedowns affect his score positively, but if he's been warned by the referee 3 times now and been stood up twice, does that affect how the judges score a fight?
I definitely think so. I definitely think so.
Something to watch in this third and final round. Will it go to the judges' scorecard, or will one of the competitors be able to end this fight before we go the distance?
Both athletes being a little more cautious this time.
Murdoch going for the inside leg kicks yet again. Both fighters going for leg kicks, exchanging some blows. Murdoch setting up for yet another takedown, and he gets a big one this time.
Big takedown, one hook. He's got him against the cage. Yeah. Streeter getting back to his feet pretty easily that time.
Both combatants fighting for position. Yet another hard takedown by Murdoch.
If nothing else, this is definitely a wrestling clinic in an MMA setting. Murdoch has shown us that wrestling is effective. It can be used. What he needs to do is work on how he follows up after these takedowns. What does he do after he gets him to the mat?
Streeter locking in the ankles. Both fighters looking for every inch they can right now.
This is almost an old school match where you had a wrestler versus jiu-jitsu guy. You're seeing the guard nullify the wrestler. The wrestler gets the takedown but doesn't do much after that because Streeter's guard game is just good enough to shut him down.
Streeter inching away, Murdoch right back on top. Sneaking in with a couple of lefts, has him hooked against the cage, trying to get that arm under the chin. Yet again, Streeter doing a good job tucking that chin, not allowing him to get that position he needs for the choke.
Yeah, Streeter's not really in any danger at this point, so he can just kind of relax, conserve energy, and let his opponent work to hold him down.
Murdoch trying to lock in the choke once again. Streeter doing a great job of keeping that chin tucked. It's got to be hard to stay relaxed in a fight setting, but if you're in Streeter's position, you kind of alluded to it, are you trying to force Murdoch to expel more energy?
Yeah, you want to make him burn. He's not really doing anything effective other than just hold him down. So let him burn the energy, holding him down. You might even get another stalling call from the ref if you want to play the strategical game. But he's definitely not in any dangerous submissions at this point.
Streeter back to his feet. Blocking the attempted takedown by Murdoch.
See, now is where Murdoch should be throwing knees and working those legs, tearing up Streeter's base, getting him out of there. Streeter's going to turn into him. He's going to dig for that underhook. There it is. He's going to dig for an underhook on the other side, and he's probably going to try to turn Murdoch into the cage.
Almost sounded like Tony Romo calling a football game. And right on cue, once again, Murdoch taking him down to the ground. 90 seconds left in our third and final round of this fight between Briley Streeter and Luis Murdoch.
Briley's doing a good job of staying calm in there. Murdoch's starting to throw a few more shots now. He's starting to realize, like, hey, man, I got to get to work here before I get stood up again. And if I get stood up again, probably going to cost me the fight.
Couple of good kicks by Streeter. Kind of in an awkward position. How can he get up to the ground, not give Murdoch the advantage?
Yeah, he doesn't really need to do anything because those up kicks are dangerous. If Murdoch steps in, he's going to get kicked.
50 seconds left in the undefeated streaks of both fighters.
Briley doing a good job of getting those little shots in. You know, the elbows, the short punches, those all register with the judges. All send a good message of, hey, man, I'm working hard to win this fight. I'm not just out here to play around.
20 seconds left. A lot can be accomplished. Streeter trying to get back to his feet. Good knee by Murdoch. Attempted roll through by Streeter in this final 10 seconds.
Murdoch's rallying a little bit. He rallied a little bit.
This one will go to the judges' scorecards. And Paul, I'm telling you, you never want to leave it in the hands of the judges.
No
the
way.
Judges have a tough one on their hands in this fight.
This is a tough one. You had the superior takedown, superior wrestling on the part of Murdoch. He was able to take Briley down.
As we take a look at the Project Filter replay brought to you by Project Filter, you decide when, we'll show you how.
There are those takedowns. He was able to take him down, but you don't see him doing much afterwards. And then you see Streeter going to work. Streeter's kind of like, hey, man, this is inevitable. He's going to take me down, but he's not going to finish me. And you see him shutting him down. He gets into his half guard. He attacks from guard. He nullifies Murdoch's attacks. Good up kicks. He's landing good shots in there. He doesn't really have to do anything. Let Murdoch come to him, man. It's going to be interesting to see how the judges score this.
Because it seemed for a lot of it, again, probably upwards of 10 to 12 takedowns by Murdoch. Some of them cleaner and more effective than others, but nonetheless, he had them. You go back to the first round of the fight when referee Mike Mickelson gave them the warning.
Yes.
Hey, I want to see more action.
Yes.
We saw it twice in the second round where he actually stopped them, brought them back up to the feet.
Yes.
We didn't see in that third round. We saw a little more action on the ground for both of them. So, man, it's going to be really hard to tell how the judges see this one.
I would be really nervous right now if I was Murdoch. I would be shaking a little bit because of the ref standing him up. That sticks in a judge's mind. Like, listen, you had to be told to fight. You were brought here, paid to fight, and then you had to be told to fight.
Well, we've asked the question, how did the judges see this? Who is going to leave here with the victory? Who suffers their first loss? We find out right now when we go inside the cage with cage announcer Britt Saubert.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we go to the scorecard, how about a round of applause for these two combatants here tonight? We will move to the judges' scorecards where all three judges have it. A unanimous decision for your winner. Fighting out of the blue corner, the Rottweiler, Luis Murdoch. All right, Luis. I know you're from Cuba? Cuba?
Yeah.
Okay, and I know you don't speak a ton of English. What are your thoughts on the fight?
So good working. My coach, my family, and Cuba, I love you. Thank you guys.
What did you think of your time here in Boise? Did you enjoy your time visiting here and being a part of this promotion? Did you like the fight tonight and being here?
Yeah.
What is next for you? More fights?
What?
More fights soon? More fights soon?
Yeah.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, he came up here from Fort Myers, Florida tonight. He leaves with a victory. Make some noise for the Rottweiler, Luis Murdoch!
All right, Paul, I'm just going to give it to you. Do you agree with that decision?
Man, I don't know, but I'm kind of biased, so I'll just put that out in front because I'm friends with Briley. I do, from a fighter perspective, I do see where they would give it to Murdoch because of the takedowns. Those takedowns were dynamic. They were explosive. They definitely sent a message, and they leave an impression. Where I differ is what happened after the takedown. There wasn't a whole lot happening after the takedown, and that's where Briley kicked in and started playing a jiu-jitsu game that shut down the attacks. The problem is that Briley couldn't put him away on the feet because Murdoch had such an unorthodox game. If you watch how he was attacking on the feet, he was shifting angles, staying really low, and he wasn't afraid of the strikes. It seemed like he was willing to eat them on the way in. He had that mentality of like, I'm willing to take one because I know I'm going to get you up in the air and put you on your back, and that's difficult to deal with.
Very interesting decision there. Very interesting fight. Kudos to both fighters. And again, it is Luis Murdoch leaving with his first victory. Well, coming up next, it is Ben Hollier stepping back into the Front Street Fights cage against Dan McElhaney. As we take a look at Ben Hollier, we will see him next on the other side of the break when Front Street Fights 27 returns right here live from Idaho Central Arena.
We are here for the long run. Because we live here. We are based in Idaho, led in Idaho, with the mission of serving the people of Idaho. If every other health insurance company left the state, we would still be here. We're Blue Cross of Idaho. We're always on your side, and that will never change.
I've always wanted to do that.
I've always wanted to do that.
Well, I've wanted everything. I always wanted to do this.
I always wanted to do that!
Next round on me.
You're feeding it.
I will, I promise. Thanks to our Premier Rewards Visa credit card from ICCU, we earned enough cash back to stock up on puppy supplies.
But we don't have a puppy.
They're very convincing children.
In that moment, I take a breath. I know the plan. My effort, my attitude, my decisions. These are what I can control. These are what set me apart. In that moment, I chose to quit chewing tobacco. You decide when, we'll show you how. To learn more, visit projectfilter.org or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
Welcome to Twin Peaks.
Boise's most scenic place to catch every touchdown, home run, knockout, and slam dunk. Score big when you combine HD views made from scratch food and our teeth-chattering 29-degree draft beer. So what are you waiting for? Get your axe into Twin Peaks.
Front Street Fights is brought to you by Project Filter. You decide when, we'll show you how. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, and scenic views. St. Luke's Sports Medicine. And Pepsi, better with Pepsi.
Welcome back inside Idaho Central Arena for Front Street Fights 27. It is co-main event time, and to kick off the festivities, we send it inside the cage with cage announcer Britt Talbert.
Fighting out of the blue corner, Daniel McElhaney.
Daniel McElhaney coming into Idaho Central Arena in Front Street Fights 27 with a 4-1 record. Pretty even through his last 5 fights.
Yeah, pretty even. He's got a good range of ways to finish a fight. We see he's finished fights with submissions. He's finished fights with knockouts. Like, this guy is no joke. This guy knows how to fight in every range.
Sorry, I'm just looking at I'm stopping in Top Gun right now. Sorry, I remember this. I actually remember this from the last time he was here.
Are you Maverick or Goose?
I'm Maverick, definitely
All right,
Maverick.
Fine. Can I be Iceman?
You can be my wingman anytime. You can be Goose.
All right, cool.
An interesting 10 there, if you look at his last 5 fights there, the first 3 fights, I believe, were knockout finishes, and then we went on to submission finishes. What does that show you if you're looking at on paper where he's got 3 fights that ended in knockouts, 2 that ended in submissions? Is that more of a trend to he's changing his style, or maybe was it the way the fight went?
Could be the way the fight went. Could be that his opponents came in expecting him to want to stay on the feet, so he had to make a change. It's like, listen, they know that you like to bang. You want to stay on the feet and knock them out, so be prepared for that. So maybe his opponents came in thinking, I'm going to take this guy down, take him out of his game, and they got a surprise. Is this the volleyball scene, or is this where he
No,
was...
this is Kenny Loggins. This is like the opening jet fighter scene.
That's
where
right. He's on his motorcycle, right? I need to watch this movie again.
Yeah, you do.
I do.
You got to watch the second one, too. You got homework for the next one.
And his opponent fighting out of the red corner, Benjamin Hollier.
Not like we need to keep discussing Top Gun, but the volleyball scene was also a Kenny Loggins song.
Maybe that's why I was confused.
Ben Hollier coming into Idaho Central Arena for Front Street Fights. His 7th appearance inside this cage. His familiarity is unprecedented. I've had the pleasure of seeing Ben fight here many, many times. Good to see him back here. Now, the difficult thing for Ben with the 6-4 record, he's coming off a 3-fight loss streak, running the gamut of different ways to win or lose a fight: a submission loss, a decision loss, and a knockout.
Yeah. Now, his last fight, he took that on short notice.
I believe so.
Yeah, so let's see what happens now that he's prepared. He has an opportunity to come in here, put the work in, have a decent fight camp, and actually show up well prepared, ready to go. I think he is also on a mission. He wants to show that, man, I don't lose consistently. Like, I'm putting this together. I want to take it to the next level. I think he's coming in here with his war face on, and he's going to get after it. And definitely a contrast in walkout music.
Yeah, no, definitely. Absolutely. I mean, I can't, I can't vote on who I would want to win based on a walkout music, but I'm just saying, like,
right.
If you're trying to score points with the commentators, which you should absolutely not be doing, Top Gun will get my vote every time.
Yes.
A lot on the line in this fight between Dan McElhaney and Ben Hollier as we look at our tale of the tape presented to you by Miller Lite. Taste like Miller time. 1 year age difference, height dead even, weight dead even. The reach advantage goes over to Ben Hollier. This is our co-main event of Front Street Fights 27 presented by Project Filter. The most important thing to watch out is this first round. Dan McElhaney, all of his victories have come in that first round. Can he continue that streak? Can Ben Hollier end that streak? And which one of these fighters is going to leave with that all-important victory tonight? So much on the line for both of these fighters as we enter our co-main event of the evening. Ben Hollier getting his final check-in from the doctor, from the cage side ref. The gloves are good. The body's good. And Ben Hollier is good to go inside the cage. Getting that final moment. As Ben Hollier goes inside the cage, so will we to cage announcer Britt Talbert to kick off our co-main event.
Ladies and gentlemen, our co-main event is brought to you by Idaho Central Credit Union and is scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. In the Front Street Fights Bantamweight division, let's meet our fighters. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner behind me, with a professional record of 4 wins against just 1 defeat. Standing 5 feet 8 inches tall, weighing in at 135.5 pounds, fighting out of Portland, Oregon, proudly representing Sunshine Athletics. Please welcome Daniel McElhaney. And his opponent fighting out of the red corner to my right, with a professional record of 6 wins against 4 defeats. Also standing in at 5 feet 8 inches tall and also weighing in at 135.5 pounds. Fighting out of Boise, Idaho! Proudly representing SBG Idaho! Please welcome Benjamin the Lion Hollier! Our referee in charge of this bout will be Tom Supnet, who will now give fighter instruction.
Okay, guys, defend yourself at all times. Follow my instructions at all times. Keep it clean, but let's make it exciting. Touch them up. Good luck.
The 1-0 record, the 4-1 record of Dan McElhaney going against the 6-4 record of Ben Hollier. This is the co-main event of Front Street Fights 27. Referee Tom Supnet signifies that we are underway. Spinning back kick.
Ben demonstrating he's more than just a wrestler. Coming out with a little flash.
Oh, close blow there. Thrown by McElhaney. Oh, spinning back fist connects from Hollier. Sometimes it's flashy, but definitely needs to be effective.
Yeah. Both these guys are taking their time, finding the range.
Good leg kick there by Hollier. Both fighters wanting to seem to work the leg kicks and the lower legs early on. Overhand right by McElhenney. Knocks down and knocks out Hollier. Just like that. 1 minute, 5 seconds into round number 1. The shot comes out of nowhere. Hollier is down.
You could definitely see Dan setting that up with the feints with the left hand. He was feinting with the left hand and setting up the right. You could see it come in. He missed a couple times with that prior to this, but this one just landed perfect, man. This was just on the button. Unfortunately for Ben, he just found the right spot, landed it.
We talked about it, that first round, all important. McElhenney's, all of his wins have been first round wins.
First round, man.
That streak continues as our St. Luke's sports medicine doctors are in to take a look at Ben Hollier. And I think one of the nice things you saw immediately, the care and the concern for McElhenney going up to Ben Hollier to check on he's okay.
Definitely. There is something about there, you know, it sounds a little weird to say, but there's no other word for it. There's an intimacy that you share with somebody that you've had a fight with, right? Where you've competed against them, you've pushed each other as hard as possible, and you've driven each other to the very edge. Yeah, no, you can see Dan, he's setting it up, see feint, and there it is.
That was a hard shot as we see that on the Project Filter replay. Brought to you by Project Filter. You decide when, we'll show you how.
Yeah, he feinted. He set that up perfectly, man. That is not his first rodeo with that shot. He is definitely very good at it. He came out immediately feinting with that left hand, pumping the left hand, trying to get that reaction, trying to get that draw. Once he saw what he needed, he let that right hand go, and it landed exactly. You can tell, man, he's done this before.
And you saw in the first replay there, Ben Hollier throws that spinning back fist. Again, we talked about it. It looked good. It seemed to be effective to a point, but you said it perfectly. McElhenney waited, bided his time, found the opening, and boom, that was it. Well, we know how this one ends. Let's make it official as we go back inside the cage with cage announcer Britt Salbert.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, our co-main event, we have a winner. Round 1, via knockout at 103 of the first for your winner. Fighting out of the blue corner, Daniel McElhenney. All right, we're going to talk to Daniel real quick. Daniel, 5-1 as a pro. You come up from Portland, you come over. What did you know about your opponent, and how did you like the promotion here?
Oh man, I love Front Street. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to get this knockout. I knew that he was a wrestler, so I'm a wrestler too, though. But I knew I had to keep it standing.
What's next for you, Daniel?
I might have a fight in Medford in February, and then hopefully the big show.
Good stuff. Congratulations on your win, improving your record. Happy holidays to you and yours. Maybe we'll see you back here sometime in Boise.
Thank you so much. Go Boise.
Ladies and gentlemen, Daniel McElhenney. All right. We want to have a special conversation here. As long as I've been a part of Front Street Fights, it seems like our guy here has been a part of these, Benjamin Hollier. And Benjamin, you got a lot of fans here tonight. You're a hometown guy, but something you want to talk to us about tonight?
First off, I want to thank Boise for everything. You guys have been there for me since the beginning. Amateur fights. I've been fighting MMA now for almost 8 years, and I've had a lot of great times. You know, I've met a lot of good people. I've learned a lot, but I've also missed a lot of funerals. I've missed a lot of weddings. My nieces and nephews, every time I see them, are more unrecognizable from the time I saw them before. You know, the stress and anxiety and pressure I put on myself to try and reach perfection bleeds into other parts of my life. I've hurt, damaged, destroyed opportunities, friendships, relationships, because I dedicated myself to this. And I just wanted to thank you guys for everything.
Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for the Lion, Benjamin Hollier.
A significant moment. A significant moment there by Ben Hollier. One can only imagine the significance of leaving the gloves inside the cage. Could he be done? We don't know. But if he is, I think the only thing that is appropriate to say for everything that Ben Hollier has done for Front Street Fights over these last several years is thank you for being a part of the organization, and thank you for everything he's contributed, and thank you for the memories, and thank you for the moments, Ben. We appreciate you as he walks out with hugs and handshakes and a standing ovation to his friends and family alongside the aisle. Certainly a very special moment we witnessed right there. As Ben Hollier walks into the tunnel one more time. Well, we have been building to it all night long. Main event time is coming up next. It is John Poppie. It is Antonio Jones. As we take a look at Antonio Jones right now, we will see him in our main event of Front Street Fights 27 on the other side of the break. We'll be right back.
I've always wanted to do that.
I've always wanted to do that.
Well, I've wanted everything. I always wanted to do this.
I always wanted to do that!
Next round on me.
Everywhere you look, it's getting harder to afford the basics. That's why we're fighting to lower the cost of healthcare. It's not a small or easy task, but the people of Idaho deserve it. The health of our kids depends on it, and our state is stronger because of it. Affordable healthcare is worth fighting for, because you are. We're Blue Cross of Idaho, and we're always on your side.
Welcome to Twin Peaks.
Boise's most scenic place to catch every touchdown, home run, knockout, and slam dunk. Score big when you combine HD views, made from scratch food, and our teeth-chattering 29-degree draft beer. So what are you waiting for? Get your axe into Twin Peaks.
You're feeding it.
I will, I promise. Thanks to our Premier Rewards Visa credit card from ICCU, we earned enough cash back to stock up on puppy supplies.
But we don't have a puppy.
They're very convincing children.
We are here for the long run. Because we live here. We are based in Idaho, led in Idaho, with the mission of serving the people of Idaho. If every other health insurance company left the state, we would still be here. We're Blue Cross of Idaho. We're always on your side, and that will never change.
Front Street Fights is brought to you by Pepsi, better with Pepsi. St. Luke's Sports Medicine. Miller Lite, tastes like Miller time. And Idaho Central Credit Union, helping members achieve financial success.
We have been building to it all night long. We've seen 7 incredible fights, but now it is time for our main event of the evening. And to kick things off, we go back inside the cage with cage announcer Britt Salbert.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet our fighters. Fighting out of the blue corner, John Poppie.
John Poppie coming into the main event tonight with a 10-7 record. 3 losses, 2 wins in his last, all been by knockout. I don't think I need to ask you what that means, Paul, but I'm going to ask you, what does that mean?
Obviously, maybe he has enough footage out there that people have figured out his game, or he just needs to work on his stand-up a little bit. But either way, it sounds like, in talking to his corner, he's been putting a lot of effort into becoming more well-rounded and getting ready for this event. He knows Antonio's no joke. He knows both of these guys are coming in with well-developed skill sets in every range, and he is prepared and worked really hard to get ready for this.
How hard is it to, I don't want this to come off the wrong way, but become a more well-rounded fighter? Obviously, if you're looking at his record here, the knockout would tend to tell you that he likes to stand and bang.
Yeah.
If you need to get out of that, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, but to become more of that well-rounded fighter, to maybe break those habits as a coach, how difficult is that?
It can be difficult if the fighter is not receptive. Sometimes it means bringing in other people, bringing in outside trainers, guys who are specialists in that area to help him develop that specific game. There's always the concern as a fighter, though, that, hey, man, if I take a break from this stuff, what's that mean for my strong points? So if I'm really good at jiu-jitsu and you want me to work on stand-up for 6 months, does that mean my jiu-jitsu is going to fall behind and I'm not going to be as well prepared on the ground?
And his opponent fighting out of the red corner, Antonio Jones.
Antonio Jones comes into the main event of the night with an 8-4 record. Again, pretty similar, 3 losses, 2 wins. His record, you've got a couple of knockout losses in there, maybe susceptible to the stand-up bang and pound, but also decision. So kind of showing that he can do both. He can go to the distance or...
Yeah, he's got a solid background. He's a great athlete. And what we're looking at, too, is 2 guys that are coming into this cage with a loss. Both guys are coming off of a loss. That means both guys are hungry for that win, man. They've got pretty solid records. They both have winning records, right? But that loss stings. And that last loss, you want to erase that. So you want to come in here and win in a spectacular fashion in such a way that people forget that you lost your last fight.
Now, if we look at Antonio Jones' last 5 fights, you may have noticed a couple of very interesting promotions in their UFC Contender Series, Bellator.
Yes.
Both of those, no joke. So
yeah,
he's got a lot that they see in him.
Yes. Both of these guys have competed at a high level. Both of these guys come out of gyms that have a long legacy of competing at high levels, which does an enormous benefit for their mental state. You can come in knowing, listen, man, I've got a guy in my corner that's been there and done that. That gives you so much confidence mentally, because here's the thing. Think of it this way. Man, do you want to climb a mountain with a guy that's never climbed a mountain? Or do you want to climb a mountain with a guy that's like, hey, dude, I've done this like 10 times. We're good to go no matter what we run into. Both of these fighters have that in their corner.
It is time to take a look at our tale of the tape, brought to you by Miller Lite. Tastes like Miller time. 5-year age advantage goes to Antonio Jones. The height advantage over to John Poppie. Weight 2 pounds to Poppie. Reach 2 inches to Poppie as well. Who will erase the loss out of their last fight? We will find out. It is main event time as we go inside the cage with cage announcer Britt Talbert.
Ladies and gentlemen, our main event this evening is brought to you by Project Filter and is scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds in the Front Street Fights middleweight division. Let's meet our combatants. Fighting out of the blue corner to my left with a professional record of 10 wins against 7 defeats. Standing in at an even 6 feet, weighing in at 186 pounds. Fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Proudly representing Extreme Couture MMA. Let's welcome John Poppie. His opponent fighting out of the red corner to my right with a professional record of 8 wins against 4 defeats. Standing in at 5 feet 11 inches tall, weighing in at 184.5 pounds. Stationed in Boise, Idaho, by way of Petersburg, Virginia, proudly representing SBG Idaho. Please welcome Antonio Doomsday Jones. Our referee in charge of this fight will be the Korean Viking Mike Mickelson. He will now give fighter instructions.
All right, gentlemen, we've been over the fighter rules. I expect a good, clean fight. Obey my commands at all times. Defend yourself at all times. Keep fighting until I tell you to stop. Any questions for me, red? Any questions, blue? Touch gloves if you want. Let's go to war.
Boise fight, are you ready for a downtown throwdown?
The potential for fireworks in our main event is there. It is John Poppie. It is Antonio Jones. It is time for the main event of Front Street Fights 27, presented by Project Filter, and here we go. Fast fist coming for both fighters. Poppie backing Jones into the cage. Jones not willing to give an inch at this point.
Yeah, it was interesting. We saw both of these guys get right into it. These guys didn't even feel each other out. They stayed right in the pocket, exchanged blows, and went right up against the cage.
Right hip in. Run him to your left, Sean. Since your right hip in, run to your left. Split his legs. There we go.
Poppie with a couple knees, trying to loosen up the base of Jones.
He goes heavy on that foot, sweep it. Hand position. Hand position.
Couple of rights to the rib cage. Poppie looking for the single leg takedown. Jones doing a good job pulling Poppie into the cage, preventing the takedown.
Yeah, Poppie's doing a good job of keeping him pinned up against the cage. Jones is coming back with some good shots to the body, working the body, making him aware of the fact that he can strike, so Poppie has to be careful, can't lose control of the hands. These guys are so far pretty fairly well matched, man. This is shaking out to be a good fight. Going low, digging for the takedown. Poppie's digging hard for that takedown.
Both fighters fighting for position on the cage right now. Very impressive by both.
Yeah, that was smart by Poppie to bail on that takedown. Jones turned him into the cage now. Let's see what he can do.
Both fighters looking for every inch. Both fighters not willing to give an inch at this point. Oh, that was an impressive move. Overhand right there by Poppie.
Good, John. Hey, if his foot leaves the ground again, sweep it.
Both guys showing some good maturity in the clinch, not rushing for anything, working for good position. Both guys have used the cage as an ally to keep their opponent in a bad position.
Small shots, it's okay, small shots.
You hear John Poppie's corner calling for small shots. Both fighters seeming to employ the same strategy at this point.
Pop our hips, leave the body. Pop our hips, leave the body. Good. Pop our hips, leave the body.
Jones throwing the knee to the rib cage of Poppie. Mike Mickelson wanting them to fight more. Referee Mike Mickelson giving them the warning. He wants to see more action. Doing a good job of putting them right back in the position that they stopped.
Poppie's working hard for that single. Had a good bite on it. Antonio caught him as he stood up with a knee. That's good timing. These guys have a well-rounded game, and we're seeing it on display.
If that leg comes up, knee shield. Switch your feet, switch your feet. Split.
90 seconds left in this first round. Both fighters, again, fighting for every single inch of this cage, fighting for position, but neither one giving up anything.
Yeah, these guys are really well matched. Like we talked about before, these guys really don't have a specialty. They're dangerous everywhere.
First takedown by Jones. Excuse me, Poppie.
Poppie trying to capitalize, trying to get on the back. Jones defending well. Keeping the pressure. Both guys staying active, both guys working. There's a lot happening right now in this position that most folks, unless you train, you're not going to recognize it. But both guys are trying to control hips. Both guys are trying to control the upper body. Even though Jones is on the defense, he's trying to control Poppie's hips so that he can get away from him. If he gets that second hook in, he can start to exert pressure on him, and there it is.
There's that second hook.
Now he can expose his stomach to the sky.
10 seconds left in this first round of our main event of Front Street Fights 27, presented by Project Filter. Between Antonio Jones and John Poppie. Very, very interesting first round. Of course, we saw, again, the referee instructions.
Yes.
Hey, I want to see more action.
Yes.
And I think you would agree that we saw more action from both of them once they stopped.
They definitely picked it up.
You kind of see the vibe of this fight right now is not really so much a stand and bang type fight as we go to the Project Filter replay brought to you by Project Filter. You decide when, we'll show you how. It's fighting for that cage position, fighting for back position, whatever it may be at this point.
Yeah, these guys definitely want to fight off the cage. They want to put their opponent on the cage and use that cage as another opponent in there working against their opponent, which is pretty interesting. So basically they're turning into a 2-on-1 fight.
How effective can that be, and also how frustrating can that be?
It's extremely frustrating. If you've never worked off a cage, it's interesting. There are different dynamics at play. Things that work out here in the center don't work on the cage.
As we get ready for the second round, referee Mike Mickelson just giving a couple more piece of advice to our fighters here. We get the checks from both fighters, and we are underway with round number 2. How will each fighters adjust to this second round? Right, left from Poppie to Jones. Round 2 seems we're going to get some stand and bang as both fighters just coming out with a fury of flying fists.
Yeah, definitely. Poppie's corner warning him not to get into those exchanges. It's interesting that they told him not to engage in those exchanges. Sounds like they've got a game plan and they want him to stick with it. I mean, I'm not a betting guy, but I'm willing to bet that game plan involves keeping Jones on the cage.
Hey, you saw to start the second round, Jones came out with a couple of hard shots there, and so Poppie once again looking for back position, looking for a double leg, single leg, really anything at this point that he can do to get Jones down to the ground. Couple of rights, a flying knee attempt there by Jones. A right and a left there by Poppie down to the...
Oh, he's got a guillotine locked in. Now, can he finish it?
Can he get that guillotine under the chin? Can he pull back, apply that pressure to Poppie? It's hard to tell from this angle if he's got it locked in. It is close.
It's close,
Poppie
but
doing all he can to fight out, and he gets out of it.
Yeah. Well, he's got other options here for submissions if he wants to take them.
Poppie throwing in a back fist now. He, in turn, trying to lock in a submission. Trying to slip that forearm under the chin of Jones is Poppie.
Yeah, Jones is going to put a lot of pressure on his right side to pin Poppie's arm so he can't get it around his neck. That's his goal. Poppie's going to fight. That's going to basically be their fight right now, is over that arm, the choking arm. You can see how Jones has his head. Yeah, Poppie gave up on that. Jones had his head just mashed down hard on that arm, nullifying it. He's going back to it.
The battle over position continues as we are halfway through round number 2. Poppie pulling Jones back into the cage, still trying to get that forearm tucked under the chin. Jones doing a good job, able to reverse in position, and we are back to standing as Jones throws a right, a front kick, and a left. Uppercut
Good
to
uppercut.
Poppie, drops him. But Poppie doing a really good job rolling right into Jones, getting him back onto the ground, which at this point looks like where he wants to keep this fight.
Yeah, he definitely wants to keep it there. Those last few exchanges on the feet, Poppie was on the bad end of those, man. He was not doing well.
He definitely took a couple of shots there, but again,
That
did a really good job of taking it and getting back to where he wants. Which
Yeah, for sure.
It takes a lot of concentration, I would assume, having never trained in MMA personally, having watched a lot of it. But, you know, from somebody like you have a background, you've trained in it. If you're taking a couple of shots, to be able to withstand somebody punching you as hard as they can to go, okay, that hurt, here's where I need to get to.
Yes, and that teep definitely was jarring. You saw Poppie kind of take a step back. That teep was hard. So he definitely didn't want any more of that. So now he's doing his best to keep it on the ground.
Again, he is getting so close to getting that forearm under the chin of Jones, but Jones doing a really good job of preventing that. Again, it's the battle over arm control. Poppie trying to turn the head of Jones there. Jones rolling through again, making Poppie work for everything at this point. Jones pressing Poppie back up against the cage.
Yeah, keeping that pressure, right? Using the cage as an ally to keep Poppie in position so he can't advance on him. Poppie wants to get those hooks in, wants to get him turned around. Jones is using the cage to prevent that. It's an interesting strategy, and it's working.
Some boos coming in from the crowd. They probably want to see more action. Referee Mike Mickelson doing a good job checking on both fighters to see if a stand-up is needed. At this point, the answer to that is no.
Yeah, these guys are definitely working. It's always a little frustrating, I get it, for the fans. They want to see action. But for the true fans of the sport, guys who understand how the sport works, they understand that right now there's a lot going on that you just can't see. There's a lot of pressure.
Round number 2 comes to a close with Poppie had both heel hooks in there around the legs of Jones. We saw a little more stand-up action there. Definitely a strength leaning towards Jones. Poppie trying to get him back down to the ground, which is where he wants to take the fight as we look back some of the action from round number 2 with the Project Filter replay brought to you by Project Filter. You decide when, we'll show you how. It was that opening flurry that we saw.
Yeah, both of these guys came out to send a message in that first round. They definitely wanted to put it on him. This was tight. I thought for sure that was going to make something happen. Now here we see Jones start to get the better with that teep. That definitely stung. And then the uppercut. That's where Poppie realized, like, hey, man, it's getting a little dangerous in here. Let me get him to the ground and see what I can do there. And that's one of the cool things about guys that are this skilled. They don't really have a style. And that makes them difficult to deal with because they'll fight you anywhere. They're dangerous.
Both fighters willing to do whatever it takes, whether it's stand up, whether it's on the ground, to leave with the victory in the main event of Front Street Fights 27 as referee Mike Mickelson signifies we are underway with our third and final round. The touch of the gloves. Jabs by both fighters. Poppie catches Jones on the chin, goes down again. To get Jones back down to the ground. Jones doing a really good job of controlling that arm by Poppie to prevent him from taking him down to the ground.
Yeah, he is defending really well. That shot from Poppie, had it been more than just a feint to set up his takedown, it might have done some real damage. That thing landed flush. Jones is doing an excellent job of shutting him down, keeping the knees off of him, and turning in. This is another one of those things that really costs a fighter. It really drains their gas tank to have a guy wedged against the cage like that, and you can't get him to the ground. Poppie's posture is really bad. He's bent over in an uncomfortable position, trying to stand up with another grown man, fighting your attempt to take him down.
That cage playing an all-important role of this fight as Jones is trying to work himself off of Poppie, holding him flush against the cage.
There's a lot of really technical things that are happening in here that are specific to fighting on the cage. Poppie scooping the leg, keeping the leg laced, which is helping him to exert pressure on Jones' hips, which keeps Jones pinned against the cage. Jones got to get that leg out of there. That's what's keeping him stuck. And he's working his way out. He's got his knee pushed over to the Poppie's side now. He should be able to clear soon. And he's clear.
Our final 3 minutes of action in Front Street Fights 27. Jones versus Poppie.
Jones again doing a good job of stuffing Poppie's takedown attempts and nullifying Poppie's attempt to use the cage. Both these guys are just savvy fighters, man. I'm very impressed.
Jones back up to his feet. Has a little more control, going for some underhooks. Potentially setting up for maybe a guillotine, some sort of front face choke.
Watch the guillotine. Watch the guillotine.
Poppie doing all he can to hold on the leg of Jones. Jones throwing in some rights, whether it's with the fist or with the elbows.
Right.
He's got him pinned down.
This is just a battle now, man. This is trench warfare. These guys are just in it. Both these guys are emptying the gas tank and just driving each other hard. Now
Final
Jones,
2 minutes of our main event.
Jones is now going to use that cage again to help him impose his will on Poppie. Poppie's really stuck now, man.
What's really impressive right now is, again, Jones has got the position, and he's doing a really good job of keeping his legs extended so Poppie can't bring him back in.
Yeah, it's costing Poppie a lot to extend his arms out there and try to drag those legs in. Both of these guys are really putting on a clinic, man. This is an excellent fight. This is an excellent matchup.
Jones getting Poppie with some rights to the rib cage. He's got him up, slips. Poppie trying to get out of it. 1 minute left in our third and final round.
He's got some good leg wrestling set up here, but he's not able to capitalize on it because now the cage is working against him. If the cage wasn't there, he could pull that far side foot, pull it underneath, and put Jones on his back. But the cage is preventing it.
40 seconds left.
Now Jones has a Kimura set up. Jones has a Kimura set up.
He's got the arm. Can he twist it? Can he lock it in? 30 seconds left.
Jones again stuffs the takedown attempt.
Doing a really good job throwing the rights, now throwing the lefts into the rib cage of Poppie. How effective are they? 15 seconds left. Raining down the rights.
Both guys are going for it, man. This is awesome. Both of these guys are going for this.
Doing all he can to convince the judges we come up. In the final 10 seconds, a
nice
flip over.
finish.
What a great finish to a very technical fight. Was it the flashiest in the fans' eyes? Maybe no, but as you mentioned, it was a clinic. It was technical. It was on the ground. Both fighters using the cage to their advantage at every inch.
Yeah.
And impressive showing by both fighters.
Both fighters. Everybody did everything right on both sides of the equation. They did everything right as far as offense goes, and the guy playing defense did everything right on defense side to shut down that offense. This was very much a chess match. This was a human chess match. These guys, you can see here, Jones stuffing Poppie's attempts to get the takedown, using the cage to his advantage now. What Poppie had intended, I believe, to use the cage to his advantage, ended up working against him.
As we take a look at the replays here, as you've been seeing, brought to you by Project Filter, you decide when. We'll show you how. Our main event definitely going to the judges' scorecards. And again, it's interesting to see how they're going to score this. I mean,
Yeah, this is interesting.
All throughout the fights, both fighters displayed
This-
dominance in different areas.
Man, this definitely could go either way because both guys got after it, both guys stayed busy, and both guys did what you need to do to score points in the eyes of the judge. I think that last flurry by Jones was a good effort by him to leave an impression on the judges, but we'll see if it was enough.
Both fighters nervous as we await the judges' scorecards. They appear to be making their way into the cage. All right, well, we said one fighter was going to leave here erasing
That loss.
a loss in their last fight. Which one got the victory? We are going to find out right now as we go back inside the cage one final time with cage announcer Britt Talbert.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we go to the judges' scorecard, a couple of announcements here tonight. First and foremost, this is our fight of the night tonight. Winner of this is going to get some cash prize from Front Street Fights. Secondly, before we do this, I want to welcome into the ring our matchmaker, the talented and lovely Miss Vida Ortega, ladies and gentlemen, for putting this event together tonight. You all know Vida. Good work by Vida. Well done. And as Vida says, you guys want to be a fighter? You want to come onto this event? Find Vida. All right, let's get everybody together here. We will go to the judges' scorecards. And we have a unanimous decision. All three judges score this bout 29-28 for your winner, fighting out of the blue corner, John Poppie! All right, John. You got it all. There we go. Let's get you. John, you came up from Vegas here. You represent a great fight club down there, and Team Couture, Extreme Couture. How did you like the event here this week coming up for this fight?
Front Street Fights puts on a great show, very organized, which I find appreciate a lot. Thank you for everyone who came out, whether you booed me or not. You make this happen, so I appreciate all the fans. I want to thank my team at Extreme, specifically Chris Curtis. He's been working with me for a long time. Chris Curtis, Strawn Strickland, Eric Nixick, a ton of other people, but those three have helped me out a lot over the course of the last year and a half. So I appreciate them, and I really appreciate Chris coming out. Appreciate my family back home. And thanks to everyone who came out. I would not be here because of you.
All right, you've got 17 now, 18 fights under your belt. You improve your record with your 11th win. What is next for John Poppie?
Go back to the gym, get this guy ready for his next fight, and keep working. That's it. Just fucking beat people up. It's fun. I like hurting people.
And you get fight of the night on top of it all. Congratulations.
Thanks, sir, for Antonio for giving us the fight of the night. I appreciate you for taking the fight. It's fucking hard to find fights with my record. So thank you for everyone. Thank you for coming out. Hope to see you guys later. Boo me or whatever your fuck you're doing. I don't care.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner right here, John Poppie! And again, ladies and gentlemen, we want one more round here. One more round of applause for our guy, Doomsday Jones here. I want to make sure people understand you're active military?
Sir. Yes, sir, I am. I'm active military.
So this gentleman here comes to us from Virginia, is active duty military, based here in Boise, representing SPG. There we go. Antonio, what are your thoughts on the promotion here? I'm not quite sure, first time here with Front Street Fights. What did you think?
I love the promotion. It's good. I just need to perform better. That was 100% my fault. Coaches had me doing the right thing. I just didn't perform when the time was needed to do it.
Well, obviously, we want to thank you for your service. Who do you want to thank?
My friends, my family, everybody that support me. I just lost my cousin last week, and I want to dedicate this fight to him because he left behind 3 daughters, and he's only like 33 years old. So,
ladies and gentlemen, Antonio Jones. Oh, one more.
I got one more. I want to thank Jeff and Bill out of South Carolina. They own East Coast Metal Restorations. Known these guys since 2017. They supported me since the very day I met them, and they're a big part of this camp. So if you ever need any metal restored, East Coast Metal Restoration, South Carolina.
Good job. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Front Street Fights, Ms. Vida Ortega, I want to wish everybody happy and safe holidays. We'll see you back here for the next Front Street Fight, which is going to be when?
March 29th.
Are we allowed to hype it?
Sure.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for all of our fighters here tonight. Ms. Vida Ortega, the production crew again. On behalf of Idaho Central Arena, happy holidays to everybody.
Congratulations again. One goes out to John Poppie, walking out victorious in the main event of Front Street Fights 27. We are going to step aside for just a few minutes. When we come back, we will be joined at the booth by matchmaker Vida Ortega. We will get her thoughts and insights on a great night of fights right here inside of Idaho Central Arena. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
We love our house, but lately we've been feeling a little cramped.
So we talked to ICCU about a new home loan. The process was super quick, and we got a really great rate.
We start house hunting tomorrow.
Preferably something with a bigger garage.
Everywhere you look, it's getting harder to afford the basics. That's why we're fighting to lower the cost of healthcare. It's not a small or easy task, but the people of Idaho deserve it. The health of our kids depends on it, and our state is stronger because of it. Affordable healthcare is worth fighting for, because you are. We're Blue Cross of Idaho, and we're always on your side.
Hey, grab me one too.
Every mom wants the best for her baby, but the best thing you can do for them is to take care of yourself. A healthy mom makes for a healthy baby, and making the choice to be tobacco-free is a great step toward a healthier life. You decide when, we'll show you how. Visit projectfilter.org to learn how you can receive free diapers and wipes, or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
I've always wanted to do that.
I've always wanted to do that.
We'll have one of everything. I always wanted to do this.
I always wanted to do that!
Next round on me.
Front Street Fights is brought to you by Pepsi, better with Pepsi. Blue Cross of Idaho, building healthier communities for a healthier state. St. Luke's Sports Medicine. Idaho Central Credit Union, helping members achieve financial success. And Project Filter. You decide when, we'll show you how.
Welcome back inside Idaho Central Arena. You're seeing the aftermath of Front Street Fights 27, an amazing night of fights from top to bottom. We are going to talk to matchmaker Vida Arteaga in just a couple of minutes. But right now, in what was one of the more surprising and emotional moments of the night, I'm joined now by Ben Hollier. Ben, I think it's safe to say you announced your retirement tonight.
I did. It's been fun and it's been real, and I thought I would do more, and I didn't. And sometimes you gotta read the writing on the wall.
Was this something that you've been thinking about for a while? Has it been weighing in the back of your mind, or is this kind of a more recent decision?
I would say like within the past week, but I kind of knew how things would go.
Well, Ben, I can safely say on behalf of Vida Arteaga, past matchmaker Todd Carlson, everybody that has been a part of Front Street Fight since the very beginning, you have been a very integral part of this promotion. You have provided lots of memories, some not so good, some good, some quite interesting. We never got to see a resolution to one from a few years ago. That was definitely a fun one. But personally, man, from somebody that was a part of the beginning of this organization, you have been one of the cornerstones and one of the pillars of this organization. You have been a constant. Front Street Fights and Ben Hollier fit like hand in glove, pardon the pun. We hope to see you around the arena. We'd love to have you part of the promotion in any way we can. I just want to say, man, congratulations on a great career. And personally, from one friend to another, I want to thank you for everything you've done for us. And it's been a true honor and a true pleasure.
Thank you guys for everything, and thank you for having me.
And I know you haven't seen your mom in a couple years, so I don't want to hold that time. So go enjoy some family time. And again, enjoy retirement, my friend. I really appreciate everything you've done there. As we get a couple little headbutts, we are looking around for matchmaker Vida Arteaga. Man, just a very, very, very great night. And our fight of the night, if you missed it, in the arena, is our main event between Antonio Jones and John Poppie. As Paul mentioned, maybe not the flashiest of fights, very technical, very impressive fight in that way. So again, congratulations to John Poppie and Antonio Jones, our main event of the night. It wins fight of the night as matchmaker Vida Arteaga makes her way over to the headset here. As you heard the winning announcement there by matchmaker Britt Talbert. And Vida, I got to tell you, again, for your third fight, we got to get the socials. The socials is important. We need the pictures. Vida, now that this is, I believe, your third fight card you've put together, third or fourth?
Third.
Yep, third time's the charm. Run us down. How did you feel the whole night?
Tonight, I was just letting my friends, since I'm going to be honest, I got to live my truth. I was letting my friends know I just feel for the fighters. I'm a fighter myself. I'm still active, and it just, I know somebody has to win, somebody has to lose, and meeting them, and you're just like, oh, this is hard. But I felt like overall the show was great, and it was a good turnout.
Is it tough when, obviously now you see it from both sides of the fence. You see it from a fighter's perspective because that's always been in you. I believe you, first or second Front Street Fights is when you made your debut.
Second.
Front Street Fights 2. Now you see it from a matchmaker side of the perspective. So when you looked at this card, and again, change is constant in MMA, how did you feel this fight card shaping up when you were looking at these fighters? What were some of the ones that really stood out to you?
I was looking forward to all of the amateur fights because they were 0-0. They were all making their debut. So you're a little bit mixed emotion, but I was mostly excited for them because I've been there before, and it takes a lot of guts to go out there and to do your best. And so I was looking forward to all of the amateurs because they all had a debuter. And then as far as pro, man, I felt like every pro fight, like this whole card, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I think it was a good card because every fight was good.
Every fight was different.
Every fight was different.
We look at Latimer versus Simpson. That one ends in a Kimura within 55 seconds. We go to Streeter and Murdoch. That one ends in a unanimous decision. Then, of course, we go to Ben Hollier and Dan McElhaney. That one ends first round KO. And then our fight of the night, our main event, John Poppie and Antonio Jones. The strategy in that one, again, like Paul and I were talking on the broadcast, maybe not the flashiest in the fans' eyes, but the technicality that we saw from both of those fighters for 15 minutes, absolutely impressive.
I agree. I agree. It was, and they were originally the co-main, and when the main event fell through, I was like, man, this co-main is going to be good. And like how you said, they're just so technical, and they're both, like, they're bigger guys, and they're both athletic. So, yeah, I was impressed with both of them.
And, again, we just talked to him, but one of the more unexpected and emotional moments in the night, and I know you've got some history with Ben, he has been around Front Street Fights since the very beginning. He has been here. Again, that was his 7th appearance inside the cage. Your thoughts on Ben retiring tonight?
He talked to me before. He wanted to have a private conversation, and he let me know. So I was prepared for that. But, yeah, like, I think once you start having that feeling, you got to listen to it. And because then it's not going to be enjoyable anymore. So, you know, best of luck to him, whatever he wants to do. If he wants to be a coach, I think he'd be a great coach. So, yeah, I'm glad that he wanted to fight on this card. And, yeah, best of luck in his endeavors.
We kind of heard a drop of information there inside the cage with Britt Talbot. We're looking sometime in March for Front Street Fights 28. Got to lock down a few more details there, but something to look forward to. Anything you kind of have in mind? Obviously, we don't want to give away too many secrets, but anything you're kind of looking at that fans can be on the lookout for in this next one?
And yes, it'll be in March. You know, I don't know. Like I guess, like, you're right. I can't say too much, but it'll be a good card.
That's where you plug Front Street Fight social media to find out everything that Vita comes up with for Front Street Fights 28. Well, again, Vita, I got to thank you very much for another great night of fights. Great show as always. We look forward to what we ever see in March. So thank you again so much.
Thanks, MJ.
All right, we're going to bring Paul back in here real quick as we close out the show. Man, again, impressive night of fights from top to bottom. We saw the gamut of victories in every shape and form. And real quick as we close this one out, Paul, just your final thoughts on the night.
Man, I thought excellent matchmaking on Vita's part. Everybody was a good fight. There wasn't any bad fights out there. Crowd was excellent, which you'd expect from Boise, right? And I just think it was just a good night where we got to see a display from all the athletes of a well-rounded game. There wasn't anybody out there that was just one-dimensional. It seemed like everybody came out, they were willing to trade on the feet, and if it went to the ground, they had game there. And so it was very interesting.
Well, Paul, I got to say, for the first time working with you at the desk, it was an absolute pleasure. I had a blast. Hope to see you again in March. Hope you had a great time, too. And
awesome.
Thank you for an enjoyable night.
Yeah, thank you for saving me. I just followed your lead, man.
Well, you know, you say, well, let's not go that far. Well, on behalf of everybody here at Front Street Fights, Idaho Central Arena, the entire production crew in the back, we want to thank you for joining us for Front Street Fights 27, live from Idaho Central Arena, presented by Project Filter. That will do it for us. Y'all have a great evening. We'll see you back here in March.